All right, happy 4th and Monday, everybody. It is a victory Monday for some. Jimmy, sorry.
I told
KU
you.
and the
Bad
Cowboys?
matchup. Oh, the Cowboys are who they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, called that.
Good luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
One of two Monday Night Football games on tonight. I don't know. I think they'll replay the Hail Mary from last year when Chicago and Washington played because I haven't seen it yet this week.
I think they will because the guy who made that play, not Noah
Yeah.
Brown, Tyreek Stevenson, is actually having an incredible year this season. He's actually playing at a very high level, Pro Bowl level. He's the 13th ranked already. 45 seconds in, I'm going to give you a PFF stat. He's the 13th ranked cornerback according to PFF in the NFL.
I got one for you.
Oh, okay.
So you are all into PFF.
Yes, I am.
You spent a lot of money on PFF. You
For
are a
us.
subscriber. You're a Bible.
Yes.
I got a stat for you after watching some NFL football yesterday.
Okay.
It's not the quarterback's fault. Is that on PFF?
No.
Like, does it say exactly that? I know you're going to tell me now. Well, they have this formula where what is it? Almost interceptions.
They have the turnover worthy percentage,
Yeah.
but that goes against the quarterback. What
this
you're
should be
referring to
this
is
should be
drop
the not
percentage.
the quarterback's fault stat on PFF. I thought about that yesterday watching some football. Heck, you could have thought about that watching the Nebraska game.
Caught the
What are they? What, 2 of the 3 interceptions they did not credit to Raiola on PFF?
really?
Yeah,
Why? What do you? All 3 of them were.
they gave him to the wide receiver.
No, God no. The one he just threw.
Whoa!
No.
You're already disagreeing with your Bible?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Oh, there are plenty of things I disagree.
Are
First
you
That's
of
a
all,
lot for
Are you a
6'11".
football Christian?
Sure. I disagree with plenty with PFF. You're aware of that, okay? We've had this conversation.
But I did not expect we're a minute in. People want speculation. They want hot board.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Want
well,
flight trackers.
PFF told me this.
I was just referencing the fact that Tyreek Stevenson is actually
He has
playing
had a good year.
a
has had a good
really,
year.
really good
Yeah.
season. And the Bears secondary was incredibly hurt, and now they're all back tonight. And so they only have one guy injured. That's the least.
Yeah.
They are the healthiest they have been all season. They take on the Washington Commanders. And then if they beat them tonight, they got New Orleans. They got Cincinnati. They have Baltimore.
What is this?
All winnable game. What do you mean? What is this?
Oh, you're
This
getting
is-
you're going to
this-
get your heart broken.
This is me talking into existence that I might actually be rooting for a good football team.
Sometimes people can change during the course of the season. When people tear them down and they say, like, it's over. Then the next thing you know, they put up 30 on Detroit, and Patrick Mahomes looks like he's just behind Baker Mayfield for the MVP of the early season
Wait,
of the NFL.
I thought they were
and
done.
then Mr. Rice is coming back on Sunday against the Raiders. Next thing you know, you're 3-3, and that offense looks pretty good, huh? So people can change. This is a show about change. Yes.
Let's clap it up. First
Uh,
off, I want to shout out Patrick Mahomes, single-handedly keeping me alive in my Gee Team Fantasy Football League.
Oh.
Shout out you, Patrick.
Did not know you had him, so I'm sure he's probably thanking you back
Yeah.
Yeah,
for having him on your team.
Him and I are so tight. We're best
Yeah.
friends.
Went 37, 28, and 30 the last 3 games for the Chiefs offense. And last night they beat Detroit, the hottest team in the NFL,
So it's not over.
at Arrowhead. I don't think it's over. I don't think
Yeah,
it's over
see.
because the offense kind of, more under center. Okay. The Chiefs are actually back. I don't want to make this a Chiefs show because there's a lot of other stuff to talk about. The Chiefs are back. So they not only win last night. I know.
It's a good win.
Hey,
I
everybody's
wanna-
all
fired up
Take
and-
your lap. Take your
I'm
lap.
not taking a lap. They're only 3-3. They're not in first place. They got a ways to go. Okay. The schedule is not easy. But Mr. Rice is back and he's on the field, and we are back because Travis Kelce is catching passes on 3rd down.
Yes.
They are triple covering him in the end zone when Hollywood Brown is wide open at the goal line. And last night, the Chiefs didn't have any penalties, and people are back bitching about the Chiefs getting all the breaks. The Chiefs have returned, and they're only 500. I love it. Football is great. And you know what? Sports are great. Hope you had a great sports weekend, everybody. Lots to discuss. And we get 2 playoff games today in Major League Baseball, and we get 2 NFL games, not only Matt's Bears and the Commanders, but we get the Bills and the Falcons on another Monday night doubleheader.
Who cares? Falcons, Bills. Who cares? I mean, the Bills are going to win.
Wow.
All right. It's not
You
going to
said
matter.
What's the spread on the Bears Commanders game?
It's 4 points
for Washington?
for Washington.
Where's
Yes.
this game at?
This game's in Washington.
Ah,
I know by the way, I mean, I know this doesn't work in the NFL. We went to their barn last year, Shouldn't we have?
Yeah, it's a home and home.
I know it's a home and home game. We should be playing this thing at Soldier.
No,
It should be a little
no,
bit breezy.
I don't think
tonight,
that's how it
52
works because
degrees.
this was the second time in 3 years Detroit's been in Kansas City. So I don't think this is how it works.
It should work.
But a
that
great
way.
town to visit.
I don't think teams work. I don't think owners talk amongst owners
You
to
don't-
build their own schedule.
I mean, I'm just wondering how much are the Bears getting paid to go to Washington today? I mean, are we getting any money back? I mean, we're going to need all we can get if we're building this Arlington Stadium. All right. I keep looking at these renders. It's one of my favorite things to do. Okay, because that thing looks glorious. I do not care that it's Death Star Part 2. It looks like an
no,
awesome.
it's the Roomba.
Well,
It's
Roomba
Allegiant
Junior.
Stadium.
well, that's what I've always called Allegiant. And this is probably my own nickname for it, but I've always called Allegiant Stadium the Death Star because I think it's evil.
The
looking.
Death Star is in Arlington,
Yeah, Death Star is Jerry's World.
along
Is
with
that-
the Emperor
yeah.
Palpatine,
I've always
who owns
thought
them.
that because it's all the Allegiant Stadium looks like a villain's lair. Okay, it just looks like where a bad guy would be hiding. Okay, it looks like an evil.
It
like-
looks like a Roomba. If you look at it from the outside
mean-
when you're on 15 and you drive by.
You think a Roomba is? I think Roombas look evil. I think they're evil looking.
His son is a Roomba.
What?
Yeah,
Huh?
you have your Roomba, right?
I do have
Yeah.
a Roomba. You think
You
Roomba-
called
think
him your son
Roombas
once.
look
I'm just saying
evil?
that Allegiant Stadium looks like an evil lair. It looks like Darth Vader's. Like you're big into Star Wars. You know, Darth Vader
Yeah.
has his own
Okay, I
little
can kind of
see
see it.
area. Like that looks
Yeah.
like an evil lair.
Yeah. I don't think
Just
they
very-
referred. I think that Jerry's World is the Death Star. Which-
Anyway.
which after the way the Cowboys played yesterday against Carolina,
Mhm.
yep,
Yep, predictable.
Yep.
That was
I
a
like
tough one.
Dak is still balling.
Yeah,
At least he's
He's
having a
good.
good year.
Yeah.
Eberflus is terrible.
I could have told you.
You
that.
told me
I
that.
coulda- That's not breaking news. We'll talk about plenty of breaking news today and hot takes. That's one. Could have saw that coming.
All right, welcome in everybody. Gary and Matt with Jimmy here on a Monday morning.
there to talk about today. Hey, the Huskers are 5-1.
By the way, people think that
The
this
rank-
is a fun time in sports talk radio. I think I've been doing this too long. I hate this. Okay, and I will probably not be a full participant after I say a couple of things.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do this for 2 months.
Yeah,
Okay,
we did that
because it's
before.
just pure speculation. And Nebraska is not looking for a coach, so it has nothing to do with Nebraska. Nebraska's coach, because it's logical, shows up on a list. I got thoughts. But Evan Bland's got plenty of thoughts. That's coming up at 8:30. He's from the World Herald. Lineup brought to you by the roofers at John Higgins Weather Guard. So we will discuss hot board season
Yes.
because it's also buyout season. And
Yes, it is.
well, it's buyout season, and I think because there's so many mega buyouts. I mean, James Franklin's getting 49 mil to just hang.
I went about it wrong.
Kirby Smart, if he is to be bought out,
Oh God.
that's $105
Love
million. Jimbo Fisher got bought out for 77 million.
Yeah.
But buyout season, I think as the landscape of college football has changed, and coaches are important, but I think that the compensation buyout, the escalating salaries in coaching
Mm-hmm.
will have about hit the ceiling because you're going to spend more money on talent.
Yes.
Your talent being guys that are on the field, along with guys that are running the field. So I'll be curious, like the next phase, the next 10 years with now that rev sharing is in, what
Sure.
buyouts look like. But it is buyout season. And I know, all those people that are listening from Gainesville and Madison today, you were like hitting refresh yesterday. We're like, okay,
Yeah.
Penn State's done it. Why haven't we done it?
Yeah.
Why haven't we done it? But with that said, doesn't it seem like yesterday after that breaks about noontime
Mhm.
that the Nebraska-Maryland game is so long away?
Yes.
Like I did big red overreaction.
It was fun.
No, it wasn't.
I listened to it.
Yeah,
I
there were
would-
not as many drunk people. I was asking
Wow.
Peter, I was like, what is, this is kind of odd. I don't know. I think people didn't know how to react. Like it's
like
so,
they were too happy. Or
They were
like,
expecting
it's-
no,
sad,
so
or-
this is my general feeling about what happened on Saturday. Yeah,
Okay.
like I wanted drunkenness. Okay, I wanted people just to call in and be drunk. Now there
Sure.
were a couple of people that were, their BAC was up there, not as much as the person that was arrested at the Texas A&M Florida game the other night.
Jeez.
Oh.
They blew a .337 in
Oh
the
my
stadium.
Oh, gig 'em. Hell yes.
You know,
That's dangerous.
do you know
by
they
the
also
way.
have something at Texas A&M? They have a vaping section
I believe.
Oh
it.
wow.
because there was somebody kicked out of the vaping section
Was
at
he-
Kyle Field.
Was he not vaping enough? Is
I
that why?
do not know.
Or he's
But there
vaping
was,
other
but there
things.
was somebody. There are lists out there of you can follow the police Twitter of SEC schools on Saturdays.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. But somebody got thrown out of the Texas A&M game for blowing .337. But back to Nebraska.
Mhm.
So it seems after the situation with James Franklin getting relieved of his duties yesterday, then again, it's logical that rules attached to it. One of his best friends is the athletic director, played there, all of that kind of stuff. So that seems like, okay, that's all we're going to focus on. And you're like, oh yeah, they played a game. But I wanted more drunk callers. So here's why I think people are like not as drunk and didn't know how to handle that rally.
Sure.
First of all, it doesn't happen very often.
No,
it was fun.
Yeah.
It's a
Great
second
drive.
I don't know that it was a game. If you're watching the game, it gave you whiplash. Okay. It was a very odd game. And I think if I'm from the Maryland standpoint,
Oh God.
Maryland blew that game. And they're having a
Oh,
players
yeah.
only meeting today.
Already?
What are they? The Dolphins? Loxley has got, he's got some guys that like to play through the whistle, and they made some mistakes, but they basically played the role of past Nebraska.
Oh
That's
God.
Michigan State and Maryland have Nebraska'd, okay, the last 2 weeks, and Nebraska has flipped the script where they're taking advantage of those opportunities. But I think the more I think about, gosh, I wanted more drunk callers, and I was
Sure.
telling other people this. I think that Saturday and the week before,
Mhm.
that's how you change how we think about Nebraska football. Because I think Saturday that is what Nebraska football is. They're not built right now to blow people out. They're going to play in close games. They're going to follow the model that now is in college football. It's the NFL. There's
Yes.
going to be a lot of 1 and 2 score games. The champions are not as dominant, and the bottom teams are a little bit better. So when you watch a game like that, instead of just embracing that Nebraska found a way in a game that they turned the ball over 3 times. At one point, Maryland had 17 unanswered points. Nebraska defensively on third down fell apart.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, in the fourth quarter, they found ways to make plays. I think those kind of games are about changing how you think. But it's also, I haven't gone back and watched the entire game, but I just want to watch certain parts, and I watched the fourth quarter, is Nebraska has finally leaned into the way how they're built. I think at the beginning of the year, they were trying to be something they were not.
Okay.
And Saturday showed me that they know their identity, and that's what they're going to play to. And we'll see if they can ever play 60 minutes this year. But you wake up today, and they're 5-1 halfway through the year. And it's not crazy to think that they have a path to the playoff.
No.
Yeah.
And you made a great point last week talking about the schedule, right? About, hey, if you're looking at the schedule, there's an opportunity with some of these teams that are faltering that it's going to break right for you. That Penn State game, which I think we all basically circled as a guaranteed loss in the beginning of the year, has now turned into a game where it's like they very well might be favored. Like if this continues, could go off the tracks for Penn State. I think that the first 2 years of Matt Rule, and you've watched all these pressers, Jimmy, you too. I'm sure you've watched the Matt Rule pressers.
Videotape them and everything.
I mean, it wasn't so much about the football.
Videotape?
Oh yeah.
You put them on your VCR.
Microfiche.
It wasn't his press conferences his first 2 years wasn't so much about like the football or the players or the scheme or anything like that. It was a lot of standard and culture and why are we doing some of the things that we're doing. I think the last 2 weeks were the culmination of that.
Yeah, you know what? Saturday was a team win, TEAM,
Yes.
because there were moments where one side was bad. There was the other sides were bad. Special teams, for the most part, played well. Who would have thought that the only negative on special teams would be Archie Wilson, who I think thinks too much about perfect placement of a football and in punting. He only had a 20-yard punt, and the only time that he punted. But this team is built a little bit different from the standpoint. Well, they might be the best first and fourth quarter team in America, but they might be the worst second and third quarter team in America.
Yeah.
They don't panic and they don't crater. Like they don't. When Maryland runs off 17 unanswered and you're like, well, this game's going south, they don't crater and one thing leads to another.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it goes from 7-14 and you got no shot. So they've been able to keep their head above water and then make some plays. And that's what happened on Saturday. Is guys made plays at times where they had to make plays. And I don't know, we're gonna have to get used to this. This is kind of like that's changing the way we look at Nebraska football. And this might just be who they are. They're not going to be able to play 60 minutes of solid football.
Sure.
This is how they're built, and they're going to find a way to be in a game. And if the breaks go their way and they create breaks, they're going to find a way to win a football game. And hell, nobody's bitching. They're 5-1.
No,
they're 5-1. Where would you rather be? Penn State, Madison? All right.
God,
so
no.
take 5-1 and get ready for the $5 Bits of Broken Chair trophy game coming up on Friday night in
It's-
Minneapolis.
It's 2 weeks in a row where the team that they're playing goes on a run in the second half and they're down 7. And it's like in the past, you'd think Maryland and Michigan State would have just went on cruise control and Nebraska would have just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Like they would have thrown a pick or had another fumble or like missed a field goal or done something stupid. And then they end up losing the game in the second half. 2 weeks in a row, they've made plays.
Yeah, that's it. And it's 2 weeks in a
crazy.
row they've blown a double figure lead.
Yeah.
And they found a way to win those football games. Basically, what Nebraska football is for the fans, for the team,
Mhm.
is you're riding the roller coaster of the quarterback. So the Dylan
Sure.
Raiola roller coaster, it's too bad Peony Park is not open anymore because you would build a Dylan Raiola roller coaster and it would be very popular.
A
Because
ribbon
lot of
Raiola.
people, lot of people want to get on the ride. Okay, because you're going to go up and you're going to go down, you're going to go sideways, you're going to go slow, you're going to go fast. And then at the end of the ride, you're like, woo, this was kind of fun. That's what Nebraska football is. The roller coaster that they're on is the roller coaster that the quarterback has.
Sure.
Because, because at the beginning, you're like, hey. The middle, you're like, and then at the end, you're like, hey. That's kind of what a roller coaster is, right?
A little.
Yeah.
But I don't think a Dylan Raiola roller coaster really would be that fast.
Ooh, that's another shot at the quarterback at
It's not-
Nebraska.
I mean, it's a good job.
Wow, he's quarterback of a 5-1 team who,
Nice
the-
drive.
I mean, I thought if you go a shot, you wouldn't go with his legs. You go with the fact that he's thrown 5 interceptions the last 3 games. But
well,
that's just me as a football guy. But
Oh.
let me listen to this though. So the last
as a
2
ball
games,
knower.
hell yeah, I know my football.
Yes, you do. Interception's bad. Hot take off the press.
You heard it here
But-
first.
but
Listen on Take
remember-
5 today.
Remember,
Yes, Jimmy.
it is not your fault interception. Okay, so we need to break
Yes,
this down.
Yes.
To be fair,
Yeah, that
to
is
be
fair.
fair.
I paid $130 for PFF to tell me something that I know is completely false. Yes.
So the last 2 games, in the first and fourth quarter, Nebraska's outscored Michigan State and Maryland 48-6.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay.
And a garbage time touchdown is the 6.
By the way, Maryland has been outscored in the last 2 fourth quarters 31-0. Nice job, Mike Loxley. But in the second and third quarter of the last 2 games,
Okay.
Nebraska's been outscored 52-24.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's
That's
how
not
you
good.
start and how you finish. That's the story of
Clearly.
2025 Nebraska football, apparently.
It's how you script the game to begin, and then it's also how
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
play? How do you play when your backs are against the wall? Which is kind of what they've been doing, and they've been doing it successfully, like incredibly successful.
Yeah,
Well,
they
it teaches
just-
you
they
how to
just-
win.
They just don't pan. You know what? So they're much improved. They've got some flaws, and I think they've got some flaws that won't be fixed during the year because
Mhm.
some of them are personnel related. They just don't panic. Like they
Well-
don't get jittery. They there were moments on Saturday where it really could have gone south.
Mhm.
Like one thing leads to another, but they found a way for like the defense to pick up the offense and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody, if you're looking for like crisp, clean, man, that's how that football should look like.
Sure.
There's a lot of parts of the last 2 weeks you'd be like, nah, not so much.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, where this program is, I think it's important just to win football games. And they've won now 2 games in a row, and they have a chance to win a third on a short week in a put your big boy pants on,
Oh, yeah.
bloody knuckles football game coming up on Friday night.
Do you get the vibe that maybe they just know they're a good football team? That, like, I feel like in the past with some of these teams, and the reason why they would lose these games is they would be up, and maybe they wouldn't like believe that they should be up.
Hmm.
And I think that this team, they just kind of play with a swagger in a way where it's like, we know we should be here. We know we're a good team. We've been told we're a good team. This is what we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to face adversity. We're going to win games. It's
Yeah.
not always going to be perfect. I
Yeah.
just think they
I
know.
think it's just a mental thing.
I think that
They've kind of
yes,
got over that mental hurdle a little bit.
1,000,000%. I don't think there's I'm sure there might be other answers, but to me, that has to be an answer because now it's twice where they have been down and they've had zero momentum and they've been able to look the opponent in the face and just make plays and create their own momentum and then turn that into victories.
or take advantage of just, I mean,
Mistakes.
Maryland in the final drive has a
Yeah.
guy wide open. If Washington looks left instead of right,
Sure.
that guy now he's probably running through Richmond and nobody has caught up to him. So there are, in the past, they find that guy and he's wide open. You
Sure.
score and you go, WTF.
Yeah.
They're just They're finding ways to win football games, and I think at this point in the development of this program, that's important until these aren't on Saturday you're going to show up and win. There's also part of like the last 2 weeks and the theme that's been this year that Rule reiterates is that you're going to be in close games.
Yeah.
Like that mentality that every game's going to be close. And that's what college football is. The days of just pure blowouts are going to be so rare because there's so much more balance.
It is.
The talent is spread out a little bit more. The coaching is better. That the NFL has very few blowouts. They're usually 1 or 2 score games. So if you go with that mentality that, hey, we're going to be in these games and it's going to just be these little details, and we're not going to get blown out when we're down by 10. We're going to be able to get back into the game. I think all of that, Nebraska's flipped the win probability chart. Who would have thought that? We're not. You see, this is why it's like you have to change the way we think around here
A little bit,
because
yeah,
we're used to Saturday being a loss. I mean, it's okay to admit today that in the third quarter you're like, damn, they're going to get me because I predicted Nebraska was going to win. And all of a sudden the fourth quarter arrives and Nebraska makes some plays and, catches a break. Look at, for example, I think the greatest delay of game penalty in the history of Nebraska football happened on Saturday.
Of them, not snapping the ball
because
on the fourth.
I have no idea what play they were going to run on fourth down and how many people thought, oh, it's going to be a high percentage play. They're going to score. Don't worry about it. I'm thinking, I have no idea. Just judging off past history there. So a delay of game and where you have to take the points actually turned out to be pretty good for Nebraska. So it's just, hey, breaks are happening, whether you create them or you're giving them, that haven't happened in previous years, in my opinion.
I'll be completely honest with you. Completely honest. When they were setting up to go for it, I thought there was no way they score here. Truthfully, that's fully, but that's to your point. Like, maybe we have to think of this team differently because if this team has proven anything over the last 2 weeks is they definitely could score there and they definitely could make that play. And hell, they had a play like that against Cincinnati on that 4th and 2 on that touchdown to Dane Key where they went for it and they did score. So, but to your point, I had no faith they were going to score on that fourth down. And you're right, getting the delay of game and forcing them to kick a field goal, because apparently even when you have a really, really good field goal kicker, it's a lot to ask to actually take 3 points, which, yes, I'm talking about the first quarter. They should have kicked that field goal.
First drive.
I'm sorry.
Well, they did not miss any field goals. I don't know if people remember that. Cunanan hit 2 field goals. That's just the first drive of the game. You're not allowed to kick a field goal. Apparently it's in the bylaws of the Big Ten with Nebraska. All right. We have lots to discuss. Matt Rule will speak this morning.
Yeah. What should he say?
He will acknowledge it.
Okay.
They had it. They got together with the regular. We're back to work yesterday, and
he'll have his own hot.
I imagine that he acknowledged it internally, and I imagine that he is good at this. That he will acknowledge it. But what do people want him to say? Okay. Hey, if Nebraska's culture is what we are told that it is, and what kind of we're starting to see. This is not a distraction.
No.
This is not a distraction. All right, 402-951-1620. That's the number to get in with a conversation on a 4th and Monday on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, just like Mike has done. Mike kicks us off this week. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Gary. How are you guys?
Good, Mike. How are you doing?
Awesome. Hey, awesome.
Hey.
Very
Great.
good.
That's awesome.
Hey, I want to say 2 of the most important thing that's happened this year is one, the hiring of the special teams coach is just amazingly how much it's flipped. It's so nice seeing punts being returned and kicks being returned and field goals going through the uprights and all that. That's awesome. But then also, I think we need to thank Dana Holgorsen for going out and getting Johnson, because let's not forget Johnson was out the door, and he had to go back and recruit him to get him to come back. So I think that's pretty big. And then one thing that does scare me still about Big Ten teams and Nebraska this year is, are we going to be able to stop that run?
Yeah. No,
or is that going to be able to happen? Because teams like Iowa, when they come in and they run the ball and they get 4 yards, 7 yards, and then 8, and then pass to the tight end for a first down, those are the teams that Nebraska's going to have tough time beating.
Yeah, they're the run fits and up front is still a work in progress, Mike. I mean, they give up 130 yards to a team that doesn't run the ball very much, 4.2 yards per carry.
Exactly.
They were the beginning of the second half on the gap scheme. They were just getting mauled up front. They were getting pushed back. Yeah, that's where I think Nebraska's a good football team, but the jump in the sport to go from good to great starts in the trenches. And Nebraska is not consistently good enough right now in the trenches for me to say, hey, they're one of the top 15 teams in the country. Good team, but that's got to be worked on. But I think that's I agree. I think that's just going to be a work in progress. But we'll see what happens this weekend. This is a Minnesota team that doesn't run the ball as well they've run in the past.
Okay, get a little pressure on the quarterback would be good.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, but you know what, Matt Rule. Let's go to Matt Rule.
Okay, let's go to Matt Rule.
He's not going anywhere. Seriously, what's Penn State's biggest complaint? That they can't win the big game. And I love Matt Rule. He's doing a great job here and everything, but he hasn't beat a top 25 team yet. I don't understand why people are, and I think his family likes it here and all that kind of stuff. I understand the connection, but
yeah. And we'll talk about it in the next segment, Mike. Mike, thanks for the phone call. I mean, hey, don't get bent out of shape. It's logical. It's logical that Rule's name is attached. Pat Kraft, the AD at Penn State, who I interviewed 2 years ago at Big Ten Media Days, and him and Rule were doing a stand-up act. Okay. So, I mean, everything is logical in the connections, but something Mike brought up that if you got rid of James Franklin because of the football stuff, now there's always more to the backstory of why it was time to go. But Rule is 2-23 against ranked teams in his career. So how would you sell that to a Penn State fan that now thinks, hey, we hit our ceiling. We need to find that coach that's going to break through the ceiling. But I get it. And I'm not like bent out of shape, because this is what happens with coaching searches. You start connecting dots.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like, hey, played there, coach there, good. Oh, highly thought of in the business. Okay. He would be on the list. There's a lot of guys on the list. I actually have a couple of guys that we'll discuss later in the show that I think should be on this list. And I actually think, now remember, I've also said I don't think Rule would leave.
Yeah.
Because I think Rule's got about 7 years and this is the place for him. And I think I have the perfect guy for them that I don't see showing up on a lot of these hot boards.
Okay. I can't wait to hear it. I also think, like, man, Nebraska's a pretty damn good job too. Like you can sit back and you can admit that. Like, Penn State's nice, and yes, they have over the last 15 years they've had way more success, and they're a premier brand and they have the money. But like, this is a pretty damn good gig. And Matt Rule, like, it's not as if he doesn't get offered the job, he's going to go, oh, shucks. Yeah. No, he's going to go back to his incredibly nice office and his incredibly nice facility with plenty of money, with a lot of talent that he's brought in, and he's 5-1, you know?
And there's also, does Penn State want him? You know, it's a two-way street. You can't just have a job that you want and say, okay, I'm going to take that job, and they don't offer you the job. It's a little bit awkward. But I do think, because he speaks today, I think he'll acknowledge it. And it won't, some people will be satisfied. Others will be like, well, he'll acknowledge it. I mean, that's what he does. And you can't avoid it. No. I mean, and he doesn't avoid that he has a passion for Penn State.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, sometimes your dream job, and it is his dream job, your dream job, sometimes when you're pursuing and you get into the business, you're like, man, that's my dream job. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get to a place that you go, wow, this could turn into a dream job. Kind of to your point. Sure. So we'll discuss that coming up in the next segment. Because I know people want hot board. They want 1620 to be 6A to 6P.
Come on,
hot
Gary,
board.
start firing away.
They want plain tracker.
Damn it. I should have made a graphic. That would have been great.
You have 3.5 hours.
I see. This will be your first time. And again, Nebraska doesn't have an opening. So this is somebody else's. This is somebody else's mess. The first couple of times, I was like, "This is awesome." the second or third time, even the Rule one, even though
you were worn out by November, I remember.
Yeah, but you were heavy on the lines on the Rule one. I didn't.
But if you remember,
I remember Lane Kiffin
on a
Day.
crossover, I did say, I think Nebraska's looking at Matt Rule. I was
Okay.
texting back and forth with the guy from Auburn.
I remember that.
But I'm like, okay, the coaching board, hot board, all that kind of stuff, speculation. I acknowledge it, but I'm not like, okay, all right, segment number 1. Let's break down what Rule would look like at Penn State and what his staff would look. Okay, I'm not into that.
What's
don't
Nebraska
think
gonna
I
look
don't
for?
think I've told you this. We had already met at this point. You and I already knew each other,
Oh,
Really?
but
that's
during
nice.
the rule search, because we met when Scott Frost was still the coach.
We did?
Yes, we did. The first time we met was the North Dakota game.
Oh, so you have an
Okay,
anniversary.
okay.
You should buy him breakfast that day.
Sure. Well, I owe him a
Commemorating.
coffee and a lunch and
You owe him a
everything,
lot
and
of-
all the bets that
Okay.
I lost. But I knew you already. But I had not listened to you. I had just never heard your stuff. You were just the really funny guy that
Thanks
I
for
sat
listening.
next to at the press box. I didn't listen to you because until the Matt Rule search, because everyone was like, "Yeah, Gary Sharp dropped this. Gary Sharp said this. Gary Sharp, dropped this nugget." Like it was getting around in some group chats that you were dropping stuff left and right.
That was
And
Taylor
so-
Swift's eggs.
So you Easter eggs. You have to say Easter eggs before that. You
I
can't just
go with
say
eggs.
her eggs.
Eggs for
Yeah,
breakfast.
she was at the game last night with Caitlin Clark.
I know they did a terrible job of like showing her shots, like she was like in shadows
Glad I
and
watch
like
baseball.
back in the back. Like you needed to get a better close-ups of her. But I didn't listen to you until it was hot board season. And then I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good.
All right. Well, I'll drop a little nugget coming up in the next segment. then.
Hell yeah.
Yes. All right. We're off and running on a Monday, a victory Monday. Nebraska takes on Minnesota on Friday night as a 5.5-point favorite. Someplace, did I see 4? Some places? I thought 5.5's been pretty solid.
I think it originally opened at 6.5.
Okay. So that game on Friday night could be a little rain up in the Twin Cities.
Big weekend up there too.
Yeah.
Big weekend.
Vikes have the Eagles on Sunday. Minnesota had a rally to win 27-20 at home against Purdue.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought Purdue was going to win that game. And then,
Purdue ran the ball down the throat of Minnesota, which Purdue doesn't run it well. Minnesota used to stop it. But this is not your typical PJ Fleck team. We'll have plenty to share about the Gophers with all of you on Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. Good Monday morning. Evan Bland coming up at 8:30 this morning on Gary and Matt. James Franklin fired. There's got to be more to the story than just 3 straight losses, the last 2 to unranked teams. Sometimes your arrogance presses the button, and when you start losing,
about
it's
our
easier to
cats?
pull the ripcord. Yeah.
It's a hell of a victory.
It was an interesting game, to say the least.
Oh God, it was ugly. There were moments in time I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, what is going on?
So Penn State goes to Iowa City Saturday night with an interim coach and a freshman quarterback because Drew Aller is out for the year.
Let Huddle Nicky cook.
I do want to say this. I want to shout out my father because I called him after.
Shout out Pops.
And
Thanks for making me.
I called him. I'm going to tell you right now. I've never heard the son of a gun happier. He was so ecstatic. He told me, and I quote, "I feel like I just saw the Great Pumpkin." Okay, he was like screaming on the phone. He sent me a picture. I'll show you the text at the break.
Yeah.
He sent me a text yesterday, just an impromptu picture of a Northwestern hat on a windowsill. Okay, no, hey, how you doing? No, love you, anything. Just sent me a picture of a Northwestern hat. Okay, the guy is riding high. Couldn't be happier for him. I don't know how many high moments he's going to get in the coming the changing landscape of college football with the Cats included.
Damn.
Shout out Pops, man. Hell of a victory.
Northwestern comes here in 2 weeks. I think we might find, speaking of Northwestern, what would be today? You'd find out the kick time. That feels like an 11 a.m. game.
Oh, God, yeah. Big Ten.
We did say
Big Ten Network.
the Peacock game. You guys were wondering when they'd get a Peacock game if
Oh,
they get
that's-
one.
Yeah, I don't know what network,
But I
but
don't know.
it feels like an 11 a.m. kick for Nebraska Northwestern. I think you find that out
That's
today.
okay.
And then we speculate on what USC Nebraska will be. USC's got Notre Dame under the lights on Saturday night on NBC. Then they got a bye week. They also have a new quarterback or a new running back because Jordan is out 4 to 6 weeks. But King Miller looked pretty good. All right, now let's talk about Rule. Okay, everybody wants to talk about Rule. I do believe that he will acknowledge it today, but he's probably going to say stuff that'll make you feel good and stuff that are like, oh, can you go? No. And I think anybody, because this just got started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody that is coming to you with information is pure speculation because we don't know what Penn State wants. Does Penn State want a proven builder or do they want a proven closer? Rule fits one of those. He doesn't fit the other right now. We don't know what Penn State is looking for because sometimes you hire the opposite of the person that you just fired.
Sure.
That's in any business, as I've come to know. This is where this is, and again, it's logical that Rule's attached, and it's okay. I'm not upset about that. That's a no-brainer, and it's his dream job. But sometimes your dream job isn't the job that you pursue. It's you find a job that is like, okay, this is my dream job. I personally wonder if Penn State would be interested outside of Pat Kraft knows Rule really well. Because you have to be offered the job.
Yes.
So right now, everything is speculation. But this is just my feeling on getting to know Rule. And I'm okay that it's his dream job. And if dad calls home and, there's money involved, hey, I'm not going to blame you.
Sure.
But I think he's found a really good job here. And I also don't think he wants to coach forever. But there are other factors that go in, which I think will give you a little insight into how I think Rule operates. So his kids, so he's got a son that's a sophomore at Nebraska. He's got 2 daughters that go to school here in Omaha. So every day they come up to Omaha.
Yeah.
He's also got a wife who has been a really good coach's wife, and they've moved a lot. And they kind of thought when they moved from Charlotte to Lincoln that this would be one of the last moves, if not the last move, as they got to know the job. And of course, she has opened a business in South Lincoln. But mama gonna have a voice on any future about, I don't want to uproot the family and move again, regardless of the logical connection to State College, Pennsylvania. So I think in this world, that's important to Rule. Now I'm going to give you another one.
Okay.
Not only do his daughters go to school here in Omaha, but Rule last year moved his parents to Omaha. And you want a little bit more?
Yes, I love this.
You can walk outside of our building and almost see where they live.
Really?
Yeah, they live in our neighborhood here at the radio station.
Oh, good morning, Rules.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's I think he has found a place that is perfect for him because he got an AD that basically gives him everything he wants.
Yeah.
Okay. He knows what Nebraska can be. He doesn't have one foot out the door, and he hasn't operated like that. Now, these are just my observations.
He fits
If I'm way off, I'm okay to have this discussion.
Sure.
He fits. Kurt Signetti fits at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are going to look at professions now because it's not how good you were, it's how good you are.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you look at fits and like, you know what, man, I really wanted that job and I played there and I love that program and I follow their scores, but this is the right fit for me. And that's how I see this situation unfolding. But we don't know the emotional ties of when a phone call comes, but the phone call has to come. So anything right now on a hot board is just, hey, let's connect dots. Let's throw them out there, hot candidates, and go. So the next step will be, I do believe that he'll acknowledge it today.
Yeah.
And he's always acknowledged it. He's never hid that he's like I like Penn State. Well, okay, I went to Penn State. What are you going to do? That's part of my football life.
He went on McAfee and they were talking about Penn State, and he kind of not talked about Penn State as in like taking a job or anything, just kind of mentioned that Rule went to Penn State. And it's not like he backed down and he was like, oh, I'm a Nebraska guy now, I don't care about the lines. He very much was like, oh yeah, we are whatever.
Anything,
you
you could just pick his brain. What do you think would be a good fit?
Your nuggets and your points, all true, all correct, all everything like that. I want to throw another one at you, and maybe you disagree with it, maybe you agree with it, but you know this, like, they've worked really, really hard at Nebraska. Like they've put in a ton of work, a ton of time. Like they really have been building this thing from the ground up, right? To me, like I look at it, and this is just me looking at the situation. If I put in that much time and that much work and that much effort for the last 2 years, and now I'm finally like Nebraska's finally turning the corner and they're 5-1 and they just got ranked and they have a ton of momentum. Like you're finally reaping the benefits of all of the work that you put in. I imagine like that could be a factor too of like, maybe I do want to see this out, but
yeah, maybe, but they, it's not like, okay, we know Franklin's going to get fired.
Sure,
okay. So this dropped everybody yesterday. I mean, you could see it and they had no other option in State College. So, you're not like, okay, here we go. I'll go a step further here and then we'll get Nebraska ball Mike in here to finish the hour. If I was Troy Dannon and I was worried about losing my coach, and I know that he's a Penn State guy, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's fine. I'd be more worried about a good job in Texas opening up and coming after my coach than a job at his alma mater.
Because of his previous connections there and the success that he had there and the money there.
They love him down there.
Yeah. All right, here is Nebraska ball Mike. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
I'd like to thank your boys down in Kansas City.
Why, thank you. I'll pass it along to Pat and Travis. Stop by that 1587 steakhouse. No.
First of all, Dylan, if you ever play like that again, just hitchhiking back to Lincoln.
Well, he did have 4 touchdowns.
Those 2 interceptions were your fault.
3.
You were looking right at him.
One.
He'd win by 17 if he doesn't throw those.
One definitely, because he stared down the defensive back, and that looked like a guy starting his 6th game of the year. The other one, Mills ran it was an option route. And then the other one actually is on Dylan too, because Dylan's got to give that football to a fan as a souvenir, and instead he gave it to a Maryland Terrapin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emmett.
All right.
This
We're
is
just
your
going through the
game.
list. Yeah.
This is your game. Go up there and prove PJ Fleck wrong and shut him up, because in the back of our head, he's been talking way too much.
Yeah. That is a
Way
good
too
storyline.
Yeah, he has made it personal. He hasn't hid it.
Yeah.
Like he was on the video in the CBS Sports Network before the year began. So it's personal to EJ.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Okay.
If he comes up there and does what we know he can do,
Yeah.
he can put up 150.
Okay.
So, I'm a little less nervous about this.
All right. SP Plus
Because-
has a 29-19 Nebraska.
I just heard
Uh-oh.
from a former defensive end at Nebraska that he heard personally from Coach that sometimes the one thing you don't want to do is go home and fail.
Yeah.
And Nebraska knows that because we fired a coach who did that.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe he wants to stay here just because he doesn't want the pressure.
Maybe he wants to
messing up.
stay here because he's created a good job for himself and his
Dang.
family.
I feel a little less apprehensive now that I know that he told players that, former players, you know. And I know Damon's got Caleb up there right now, and I'm glad the communication's a little more open than it had been. So that helps.
Yeah.
Is 10 out there for a win total?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities.
All right, so let's do this, Mike. They're 5-1 right now. Before we let you go, they're 5-1. Call your shot. Next 6 games, what's the final record?
Somewhere 4-2.
No. Okay, so you do the math. You're 9-3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you're on the board. You're on the board at 9-3. Thanks for joining me.
Okay.
All right.
I just USC scares me to death.
Well, it's going to be a
Good luck,
challenge. It'll be one of the bigger games that have been in that stadium in a while.
And
But you have to
I
be,
will say this also. It's nice to see teams waking up, if they are waking up, before they get here, so that we know what they are.
okay.
UCLA waking up before they get here or before we play them is nice.
No, it's not.
USC being what they are before
No,
we
it's
play
not.
them is nice.
No, it's
So
not.
we know what we're looking at.
No, it's not.
We're not going to be
No.
ambushed.
No, it's not. No, it's not. All right, Mike. Thank you. All right, does Nate want to respond to Mike here, Jimmy?
He does.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we can
All
do
right.
that.
Good morning, Nate.
I have never prayed so hard in my life for a call to end. Oh my God.
Be kind. It's
If
Monday.
you're telling me, I will be kind, but if you're telling me you have a problem when our quarterback's the worst game of his life, he throws for 70% completions, 250 and 4 touchdowns, like you don't know football. That's why your handle has Nebraska ball in it. Stick to basketball because you clearly know absolutely nothing about football. This is part and parcel why this is both the best and the worst fan base in college sports. It is ridiculous to even mention Raiola when his worst game. I mean, like, think about the guys we've had for the last 20 years. They wouldn't sniff Raiola's worst game on their best day. Are you kidding me? Now, the Rule situation, I promise you this. I've met Rule. I've talked to Rule several times. This is a nice guy, a guy with integrity, as you have kind of veiled pointed out. He is a family-oriented guy, which if people have met him, they know that's the first consideration. Penn State is equally a difficult place to win as Lincoln. He just saw what happened to Scott Frost. I promise you there is no way he is going to Penn State. If he goes to Penn State after hearing all of the comments Frost has made after Frost has left, there is no, I mean, he would have to be an absolute idiot to go to Penn State right now, especially after the last 20 years of their coaching carousel and the scandals that have taken place there. There's simply no way. If you've met Matt Rule, you know he is too smart to do something that's stupid.
Nate, thank you. Did find it interesting that Nebraska did offer a 5-star running back in the class of 27 that just decommitted from Penn State yesterday.
Yeah, if
And Rule retweeted the kid's
handle.
announcement that he had gotten an offer that had Bud Crawford coming out of the tunnel walk.
I'd
That was
be-
kind of interesting.
I'd be offering everybody who's decommitting for Penn State. Penn State has some pretty good recruiting classes and knows how to get talent.
I have a guy for them that nobody's talking about. Well, there is somebody I saw late last night that threw his name out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I think he's perfect for Penn State, and it's not Kurt Signetti. It's not Matt Rule.
Okay.
It's not Kenny Dillingham.
Matt Campbell?
It's not Manny Diaz. It is not Matt Campbell.
David Braun?
It is not David Braun. It's not Pat Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Hour
That's
2
a
of
good
Gary
one.
and Matt coming up next. It is a Monday, the 13th of October, Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. Also a historic day over in the Middle East as we welcome back in. Hour number 2, Evan Bland a little bit later. Nebraska, Minnesota coming up on Friday night. A body blow game. Could be a little bit rain between the Gophers and the Huskers. Considering what happened yesterday in State College, is PJ Fleck the second longest tenured coach now in the Big Ten?
God, he's got to be, right? Because Fitz is gone. Wisconsin, Fickle just got there. Then Purdue just hired a new coach. How long has Lanning been in Oregon? I mean, he hasn't been there as long as
4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to be now. That's crazy. Is he your guy that nobody's talking about?
Hell no.
Okay. I thought that's where you were going for
No.
a second.
No, I didn't
No.
think
I
that
mean-
either.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen anybody write down PJ's Flex name for the Penn State job.
Now remember, there are 6% of the FBS jobs are open
Wow.
before October 12th.
That's a crazy stat.
I mean, Oregon State, former Nebraska assistant Trent Bray got fired. They're 0-7. Trent Dilfer
Poor
got
Beavers.
fired yesterday.
Yeah.
People are speculating about Napier.
Morning,
Who
Brian.
knows what's going to happen at Wisconsin? I don't know that there's the finances to do it, but people may be looking. If you're going to make a move, you find the money. If you get embarrassed, you find the money to make a move.
well, it's funny with UAB. They really did sneak the Dilfer getting fired under the James Franklin craziness. I thought that was a very pro move by that athletic department. While everybody's talking about one guy getting fired, we'll fire our guy. Nobody will pay attention to it. I've always thought that
Couldn't
too,
happen to
like,
a nicer guy.
I've always thought that too, though. Like if you some of these programs, like Penn State, like everyone was talking about how big that buyout is and everything like that.
Mhm.
Like they've proven in the past that they have plenty of money to pay players and do facilities and whatnot. Like if you're going to do what's best for your program, you're gonna find a way to do it. So with Wisconsin, maybe it takes a couple of weeks for them to find said money.
Yep.
But I have to imagine if they're ready and willing to fire him, they're going to find a way to fire him.
All right, I have to connect Nebraska to these coaching firings.
You don't have to.
I'm going to,
Okay.
because this is part of Franklin. Now, I think there's a lot more to the backstory. I think they probably reached a point of they weren't going to be able to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So there might have been like a mutual agreement. Like sometimes there is. You think,
Sure.
why would you ever leave? Sometimes you're not in a situation. You're like, you know what? This is probably best for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go and find another job. And then it's probably best for you. So you mutually agree
Sure.
instead of them firing you. Because I think if they fire you, they don't do the Facebook post that they did yesterday. And they turn off the comments, by the way. So
Yeah.
they said, thanks, coach. Okay, so maybe it was a mutual agreement. And there's always a backstory on,
Yeah.
this was building. And then once you start losing, it makes it easier to get rid of somebody. But look at coaches. You fight so hard to win recruiting battles with quarterbacks, to get
Yeah.
a quarterback. If your quarterback doesn't develop, that quarterback can fire you. Like Drew Eller did not develop. If Drew Eller is like taking off, and
Sure.
remember, it was what, 237 days ago, they were playing for the national, or they were in the hunt to be in the national championship game. If Drew Eller develops, we're not having this discussion. Look at DJ Legway hasn't developed
Sure.
with Billy Napier. Look
Great
at some
point.
other coaches that have gotten fired recently, and look at their you're going to save us quarterback.
Mhm.
So Nebraska has one of those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
no,
now we're
Well-
halfway through his career at Nebraska.
Well, this is another, I think, layer to the NFL light, right? Where what do we say
Yeah,
all the time?
yeah,
When a GM drafts a quarterback, hey, you're making a decision on behalf of everybody, right?
Mhm.
If this quarterback doesn't turn out, you're going to end up getting fired. Everybody's going to be, heads are going to be rolling. That's the same way now in college football with also too, like with NIL and this money and these quarterbacks now being more separated and more dispersed across the country. You're right. You got to make sure you hit on your QB. You got to make sure that you're investing in the right one. You got to make sure that you're putting a lot of time in the right one, because if you don't, your ass is done.
Well, welcome to an era where it's not how good you were, but how good you are. And also an era where Indiana is the third best team in college football. And legitimately, they could make a case they're the best team in college football, but Ohio State's defense has something to say. And Miami says, oh, not so fast.
Yeah.
But Indiana is number 3 in the country. And we live in a world where Florida State and Penn State have spent billions on their stadium and millions on their staff are a combined 6-6. Maybe not making the 23 playoff has broken Florida State, because look at what has happened since they got denied to play in the playoff in 23. It has been all downhill. Mike Norvell is at an elite recruiting job and is not an elite recruiter. They've lost 8 straight in the ACC.
Wow.
They're 0-3. I mean, life in the world of college athletics comes at you fast. It just seems like it's really going fast in college football in 2025.
Well, also too, like you look at Norvell, so they go ahead, they make that undefeated run. They lose a lot of those guys in the draft, and that happens, right? And like it happened to Washington, where they make the national championship. All those guys. It happened to LSU and Coach O. The thing is that they tried. This is why I think like being good in the portal is such a skill. Okay, because it's one thing to go in the portal and get talent, but then it's another thing to go in the portal, get talent, and turn that talent into wins. And we've seen guys like Lane Kiffin and Kurt Signetti be able to bring in these mass amount of dudes and turn that talent into wins. And we've also seen guys like Mike Norvell, who's brought in all this talent from the transfer portal and decommits, and he can't turn it into wins. Same thing with, I guess, maybe a worse example, but like Belichick, right? They brought in all the 70 new players, and you're unable to turn those transport guys into wins. It's a skill.
Yeah, I think it's tough a little bit the first year. Like if we're talking like second year, now Belichick may not make it to a second year.
There
was an interesting exchange that was caught on video in Tallahassee after they lost to Pitt, where Norvell's walking off the field and catches up to Tony White. Looked like it was a little bit tense. Their defense has gone back a little bit since the Alabama game. Yeah. But this sport is week to week. Like Nebraska just survive. They're 5-1. Nobody's complaining. All right. Yeah. 5-1. Because it is a week to week sport. We have no idea what's going to happen Friday night. We're going to spend all week trying to break it down and going, man, Bill Connolly put in my email this morning that Nebraska is going to win 29-19. We have no idea. It's such a week to week sport for a good majority of the teams that play college football. And some are great every week.
Yeah.
Those are few and far between nowadays. But it's week to week. And I tell you, man, you might even think as a coach, you're coaching week to week.
Well, did anyone
1 week you're up, 1 week you're down? Look at a couple weeks ago with James Franklin. Well, now 3 weeks later.
Was anyone sitting here thinking that fans could possibly be nervous for the UCLA game in a couple of weeks? Because now that's turned into like I've had multiple people tell me that they're nervous about that game with how UCLA's playing after they fire their coach.
Yeah, it's weird in the UCLA. May they become a juggernaut, and they may have forced Michigan State to make a move with Jonathan Smith. He should go back to Oregon State. But does anybody know who the UCLA interim head coach is?
No.
So Jerry Neuheisel.
You would think it's Jerry. But
Jerry Neuheisel gets all the run. Tim Skipper hardly gets mentioned, and he's the interim head coach.
I thought Neuheisel was the interim head coach when they beat Penn State because they kept.
I actually did for a second too. I was like, did I miss something?
When they won the game, I don't know. You guys have probably seen this before. I personally haven't seen it before. They beat Penn State at home, and they were carrying off the offensive coordinator. They weren't carrying off the head coach.
Like Buddy Ryan.
They Gatorade. Yes, great call. They Gatorade bucket the OC.
Yeah. Shows you how bad Deshaun Foster was of what has happened. But this is a coach effect, like a new coach. Like, don't immediately think Iowa is going to blow out Penn State because you never know.
Sure.
New coach, what could be the reaction? But one thing, it's this league, it's the Big Ten, man. It is deep. The bottom teams aren't as bad as they used to be, and that meaty middle. But it showed it's a deep league. Now, if they can just get a commissioner that I could say, hey, have you done anything good since you've been here except for come up with ideas that tick people off? Let's do straight seeding with the NCAA tournament in basketball.
No.
Okay.
God, no.
Here is KG. Kickoff hour number 2 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, did you know Nebraska's ranked 25th and they're going to be playing against Minnesota on a Friday night? So
thank you.
I just, I know it kind of
first time they've been ranked in the month of October in a decade.
In a decade. Oh my gosh, it's been that long.
It shouldn't surprise you.
Geez. So my feeling is, how do you think they're going to react this week?
Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be okay.
Well, let me tell
You
you
think
this:
that we
they are
find-
Yes.
since 2016, when Nebraska is ranked, they are only 8-6, and 3 of those 6 losses have been to unranked teams. So I'm sure the rule is going to remind them of that. You know what?
Oh.
If the culture is what we think it's building from the outside, and what we see on Saturdays, and especially the last 2 weeks, a distraction of the head coach being on every hot board for Penn State that is imaginable, and the fact that you're ranked, not a distraction. Your whole goal is to be 6-1 when you leave Minneapolis Friday night. So I don't think it'll affect them. You know what? I'm over the polls because there's a flaw in this current poll.
Yes.
Because there happens to be a team that Nebraska has a win over that is ahead of them. So I'm not going to pay much attention to the poll. You know what poll I'm going to pay attention to? November 4th. That's the first playoff ranking released, because there is now, whether the schedule hurts or helps Nebraska, there is a path to Nebraska being mentioned as a playoff team if they take care of business here for the rest of this month.
That's good. Yeah. I know the big distraction. Rule hasn't come on and just said no, right?
No, he
I
hasn't
haven't
had him.
seen
He
anything on
has his presser later.
He met with his team on the regular let's start the game week yesterday. I'm sure that he probably acknowledged it. And I do believe that because you can't. He'll acknowledge it in a Matt Rule way, and then we can move on. And until something happens, it's all speculation.
Yeah. No, it just took away from the big win on the big comeback.
It wasn't his fault.
Win.
It wasn't his fault.
I know.
He just happened to go to Penn State. That was his fault.
yes.
Should have went to Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wrong school. Back.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right. KG, thanks for the phone call. Have a great week, my friend.
You too. Take care. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Why couldn't Matt Rule be like a Purdue alumni? You know? Why would you ever want to coach at Purdue? Why would you ever want to leave Purdue for Nebraska?
I think Matt Painter likes coaching at Purdue.
Joe Tiller liked it.
That's
too.
basketball.
Joe Tiller
Rest in
really
peace.
did like it.
That's basketball, Matt Painter. Talking about football.
It's still Purdue.
All right, couple of emails here. Old man Doug,
Yeah, he was early this morning.
He was early.
5:32. He's up and out. I bet he's working out. I bet he hopped on the elliptical.
Yeah.
No, I think Doug's probably got a Peloton.
Great win Saturday, overcoming 3 turnovers. People forget that Nebraska turned it over 3 times. There was a swing of 17 unanswered points in that game, and they still won.
Did Bishop ever find the first time Nebraska's won with a -3 turnover differential?
Yeah, he's got that like on file.
I know.
So yes, he did. He did get it out there. How about 69? Nice. I think the 57 experiment is shaky at best. I realize he may have been hurt, but I just don't see it. I thought the offensive line played well. So
I agree.
you can't tell the story of Maryland without Dylan, Dana, and the offensive line. So I've added one. Dana had a really good game plan. That quick game screen, get it out. Offensive line only gave up 1 sack, 5 hurries. They ran the ball. One guy ran the ball. I thought a little bit more Emmett made plays.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that they were road graders, but we saw moments where Pritchett on a bad wheel was downfield blocking. Gatula, I thought, had a good day. Justin Evans was good once again. Now, that's a question for today.
Okay.
Is Pritchett got injured late in the game. Now, he got stepped on Wednesday, so he was in a boot when he was traveling. They lathered him up on Friday, and then they got him going a little bit more on Saturday, and he looked okay. I'm wondering if it was not a re-injury of the ankle, but we're not doing that today. So Corcoran comes in, plays 18 snaps, 13 in the last 2 series, along with the extra blocker that he was in.
Yeah.
He is not, to my recollection, he hasn't played left tackle.
No, was he at right tackle in the Cincinnati game? So he's playing.
So
wow, that's impressive.
What
do you do
on a short week?
Yeah.
Do you just roll with Corcoran? And this will make our listener John real happy. Do you roll with Corcoran being your left tackle and say, Elijah, get healthy for Northwestern?
I don't think Minnesota's that type of opponent where you're going to kick their butt on the road, something that you haven't done in quite some time. So I don't know if it's you could just rest up for when you play the Wildcats, but I do think like the whole Pritchett situation, it's not as if he's like playing incredible ball and he got hurt and you're like, oh my God, we're just waiting for him to come back. Like his play has been I think Doug put it correctly, shaky at times. And at best, he's had some snaps where he just looks really, really good. And then he's had some snaps where he looks terrible. One guy, so like you, I haven't finished watching the game, rewatching the game, but I went through the first quarter. Rocco Spindler was really, really good, in my opinion. I mean, he was getting up to the second level. He was mauling guys. He was pulling off. He had a really, really good
I can't
game.
get out of my head him, and good on him, trying to run down the pick six.
He gave effort.
He did give effort.
He gave his
He
best.
did give effort. Although our D-line is struggling a little bit, 93, 96 are going to be something. Winery had another solid game.
Yeah.
I think there will be a strength next year. We have to have a discussion about the defense from Saturday. But when they had to make a play, they made a play, and John Butler had to make a call. John Butler's best call of the day was on the last third down that led to the punt and then the game-winning drive by Nebraska, in my opinion. Washington is better than the Michigan quarterback. He's going to be a pain in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
He does throw some heaters.
He does.
He looks like a guy that started his 6th game at times.
So bang, like he had some duffs, like he had some just absolutely spiking into the ground. And also too, like the miss that he had on the play where the guy Fleming would have ended up scoring the tight end. Like you cannot miss that throw.
Maryland plays at Nebraska next year. Do we think that Washington will still be on Maryland's roster?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, they've been able to pay some of these guys. And I do think that, look, you talked about it last week. It was a really good stat where they had 8 freshmen playing, 8 freshmen starting. They had the most in the Big Ten. Like they've played, Washington's a good team. Nebraska's a good team. They've played 2 really good teams. They've had fourth quarter leads. They're just young and they haven't been able and they haven't learned how to close them out. I think that you definitely could sell to some of these Maryland players. Hey, you have another year. I'll come back. We can do something special here.
Thank God for Emmett Johnson. Yes. Also, Nebraska won a game where the starting running back ran for 176 yards and did not score a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I was a little worried. So last week against Michigan State, like I noticed it right away that, man, he looked faster and he looked rejuvenated. But I thought it was I was a little worried, Gary. It'd be like an attribute boost. Like it was like a 1 game deal. And then maybe he'd come out and he'd probably go back to the mean. He looked faster than he did.
He does look
Michigan
fresh
State.
out of the bye. It's only the 3rd time. Well, so half the games he's had 20 or more touches. That needs to be the reg.
Oh,
he needs to be a PUPer.
Well, there were, I didn't know, I didn't think I'd be saying this in Big Ten play, but there were moments where I was like, just give it to Emmett.
Yeah.
Just give it to him. Stop trying to throw the ball. Stop trying to do the motion. Stop trying to scheme guys. Like you have a dude in the backfield who's running the ball. Just give it to him.
And the final one from Doug. This receiver group is probably the best ever as a group at Nebraska.
I know. I think that Hunter guy's pretty damn good.
Hey, he's only a sophomore, thankfully.
I know.
You can throw him into a mid-season All-American discussion. He has grabbed the wide receiver 1 spot, and I don't know that we're going to give that back.
No.
I mean, because he is Mr. Tunnel Screen, and that might be the identity of Nebraska's passing game, actually, is the screen.
Sure.
And that's Dana's wheelhouse. He's a great designer of screens. I don't like that, but it may turn out to be Nebraska's pet play for passing the football is running screens and just put it in the hands of 13.
Well, they just Xeroxed the play that scored against Michigan State. They just did that against Maryland. It was Evans was pitching out like he was going out there to block the guy, and while it was developing, I go, "Oh my God, they're doing it again!" And then he scored again.
Terry writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. Hi guys, he says connecting the dots of the Penn State job to Rule might be logical, but it's also being lazy. Rule's a program builder, not an elite coach. The boosters and fans would riot if they hired Rule. Plus, hopefully, Rule has a sizable buyout that would add to the Lions' disgust. That's not true.
I think
they can find that money in their couch.
Yeah.
It's $5 million. It doesn't take long to debunk this stupid rumor. Speaking of buyouts, how is Penn State going to afford to poach a big-time coach with scratch? They're paying Franklin to take a hike. One final thought. We're lucky this isn't 2027. Then Rule's rep might be different, better, and he'd be more likely to listen to Penn State. Okay. There's a lot that I disagree with in this email. It's not being lazy. It's this. Terry, you're familiar with how coaching searches work.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody has loose lips that is in charge of making the hire. For God's sake, the last hire at Nebraska, they snuck him into town and nobody knew about it. Okay. So what you do, because this is a popular
Gorgeous day
thing.
that day.
buyout season and hot boards are popular, whether you like it or not. And so you're going to do connections of who is the hot coach, who has a connection, and then they're going to be on a list and let everybody speculate about it. Anybody saying, well, he's going to be at the top of the list, he's going to be the first phone call. I was a Penn State fan. I'd be upset. I'd be upset if I picked up the phone and I was trying to call Bloomington and a guy in Lincoln picked it up, because I'd be like, wait a minute, that's where I wanted to call. And the money thing.
Yeah.
If you get embarrassed, money is not an issue.
No.
Okay? You can find the money. There are enough people with Penn State. And that Adidas rumor.
Didn't you like that one?
What's that rumor? I didn't see.
Well, they're
one.
going to Adidas, but the rumor was ridiculous.
So that Adidas had a say in making this coaching change.
No.
Adidas doesn't take over the Penn State contract until the summer of 26.
Yeah, that's
okay. So somebody found money. If you need to make a change, you will find money. This is the Big Ten. People are not poor. They might claim that they're poverty, but they're not.
Sure.
Okay. If you have to go find somebody will say, I got you taken care of. It happened with Scott Frost. Okay.
That is true.
They made the move.
Much worse.
They made the move. And the question was, well, who's going to pay for it? And they're like, I'll get back to you. Got to make a phone call.
Well,
boom. There you go. And you don't worry about it. You also, if you need to make a move, you don't think about the money. Okay. If the program is going south and there's no turning it back, you can't be thinking about the money. You got to be thinking about your program, thinking about your players, thinking about your fan base, which is turning on your coach. And they're the fan base that is still going to support you. So there's some money that comes from there.
Well, also to the California College, Cal Berkeley Teachers Union or whatever with their private investment. I mean, that'll cover the cost alone of firing Franklin and then hiring a new guy. So, I mean, I say that jokingly, but I'm also completely serious. I mean, if they go with this private equity stuff, they're going to get $100 million.
Well, and imagine Penn State will be out the hook because I think Franklin will coach next year.
Well, so that's another thing too. I was talking about
Florida.
So that's
Oklahoma
another
State,
aspect of this.
give 'em a
We're
call.
talking about like Penn State. Like James Franklin isn't a terrible coach either. Like he's won a lot. I mean, he's built a program.
Sometimes the
won a
breakup's
lot
good
of
for both
games.
parties.
He was consistently ranked in the top 10. Now, did he win the big one? No, he didn't. But at the same time, like there are programs who have been yearning to get back to the point where they're actually at the hump, where they're actually in the big games, where they're actually ranked in the top 10. Franklin is definitely a guy you would hire, and he would come in and he would do that for your program. If given the proper resources.
Sometimes it costs you more not to make the change. Now, he's a guy that 6 times has won 10 or more. Hell, he won 13 games last year.
I know.
There's more to this story. So I'm thinking that there's a little bit of arrogance. There's other things that they have butted heads on. And once you start losing and people start making some noise to the AD.
Oh God.
I think this was a mutual agreement, actually.
Well,
I think they I think they decided we're in a bad spot and it's going to be best for both parties.
Sure.
Because you're going to find a job.
Oh God.
And Penn State football is going to have another season.
Well, another thing, like I'll send you this clip because you know that I pay for PFF and then I also pay for Todd McShay. I love Todd. Todd's awesome. And Todd was very tuned into college football because he's got to scout all these guys and make his, mock drafts and whatnot. And he dropped the word selfish in regard to like just very subtly, just kind of quickly, just dropped the word selfish when talking about James Franklin at Penn State. So when he dropped it, I picked up on it. I got the vibe that this wasn't just James is clinging on to dear life to the Penn State job, hoping and praying that he never has to coach anywhere else again. You know? And I think from his perspective too, Gary, like I'm sure he can look around and be like, look at all these other programs who are in dismay, who aren't winning football games. Like we're winning football games here. We were just in the semifinals.
Yeah. I think maybe at some point after Northwestern and the fans have turned on you, your family's starting to hear it. Sometimes you're like, you know what? I have a great gig, but I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that I'm going to continue to coach. You guys are going to move on. Let's have a mutual agreement. That's what I think happened yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's completely.
You don't fire
plausible.
a guy and put up a Facebook post, right? Nebraska didn't thank Scott Frost.
Did they not? Did they not put up like a Twitter thing or anything? No.
We got to step aside. We'll be back. Joe, Random Mike, stay right there. Evan Bland coming up in an hour. Nebraska gets ready for Minnesota. They could be bowl eligible before Halloween.
Yes. Yes, they can.
Why did you make a big?
Be-
You're like
I made that because and not
they
at
do.
you.
They do play Northwestern next week too. So if they don't take care of business this week, they got the Cats.
I thought that the last 3 years with the whole they're one game away, they're bowl eligible, or if they win this game, they're bowl eligible. That was just such a exhausting conversation.
That
for
whole
me.
open I had, changing how people think. I guess youngins don't like change.
No,
Us olds are the ones that don't like to deal with change. If I can change, you can change. We can all change.
I'm talking about
Get used to this.
I'm talking about quite the opposite. Bowl eligibility should just be a flat. It should be easy. It should be a drop in the bucket. We shouldn't be talking about it.
Well, we have to, because we're talking about Nebraska being ranked for the first time in October in a decade. Baby steps. We're back with more Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone.
6K20 The Zone wants to hook you up with tickets to see Steel Panther in Council Bluffs. Feel the Steel 15th Anniversary Tour, Saturday, December 13th at Whiskey Roadhouse in Horseshoe Casino. Listen all week to the Connor Happer Show to win your way into the show. More details online at 1620thezone.com.
All right, welcome back in. College basketball starts 3 weeks from today. The preseason AP poll drops today as well. So plan accordingly while you sift through why Penn State shouldn't hire Matt Rule. Dennis Scott shared a tweet from PSU Nation Recruiting. You don't fire Franklin for $50 million and hire someone worse. You got to get on the message boards. It's like, man, Nebraska's just fired their coach right now. He's a terrible coach, according to everybody on the East Coast.
He's awful.
Welcome to hot board season. Here is Random Mike. Good morning.
Gary, I want to thank you
for
preparing me for the Cubs game on Saturday when you said, hey, we're okay. If they lose, they lose. It's not that big. And that's exactly how I reacted. And hey, I thank you.
Okay. I didn't like the Brewers are obsessed with the Cubs. I didn't like the L flag in their team picture, but that's okay. That'll turn out to be a meme. That's fine. Go Dodgers in 5.
I didn't realize that. But hey, interesting thing about Tony White. You notice in these last couple wins, we made stops in the fourth quarter, and that was huge in terms of the comeback. And the Tony White teams, and I liked a lot of things about him, truly, but the fourth quarter was pretty miserable.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's the obvious comparison, but I think this defense is starting to take on an identity. How do you think the defense played? They did get some key stops, but how do you think the defense overall played on Saturday, Mike?
Yeah, it was up and down. But look at all the youth on the defense. Particularly that front seven. It's a work in progress, and there's some real talent there. And as Rule said, they're going to get better and better, and athletically, they're probably better than what was there in the past. But the special teams, I mean, it's so big, and what a truly great hire it was. But I'm with you guys on the Penn State thing. There's more to this story there, and I mean, look what happened in Michigan State. Was it Mel Tucker? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Do you realize what he cost himself? I mean, he had an enormous contract.
Yeah, I mean, he appeared to do some very bad things that were not football related.
Absolutely. So there's more to the story.
No, I think I know that story. I think no. Here, let me just pause. I don't think there's any like that kind of stuff behind the scenes. I think it's a personality thing.
No, I agree. I'm not saying there was a similar thing, although that's certainly possible. But Emmett Johnson, did you hear what Dana said about Emmett Johnson? The comparison he made with McCaffrey?
Yes, but can we make a comparison that 50-yard run, which, by the way, that drive only ended up with a field goal. It was a mere like. It gave me a mere vibe.
He's done that before. Remember the Wisconsin game of last year?
Yeah.
I mean, it was he's the second leading rusher in the Big Ten. I mean, I confirm that. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Anything else, Mike?
No, I just appreciate you.
Okay.
And I thank you for the Cubs. A big load off. They just weren't that good. In fact, practically every time they had a huge offensive game, they barely score the next. And I was hoping the King was back because he was actually the guy that could have changed that game because he'd been looking good the prior couple games. But hey, there is a path to Nebraska making the Final 14. It could happen.
That they could be inside of the 10, 11, 12. There is a path. Yes, there is a path. But they got to get through the month of October. Mike, thanks for the phone call.
Can I answer your question real quick that you had for Mike?
Yes.
How did the defense play?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll dive more into it. Now, granted, they only gave up 24 points. I want to bounce this off you because you might agree here. there were a couple. I like that they run stunts. I'm a fan of the stunts that they run, but there were a couple times where number 5 was the one who was looping around on the stunt, and he's slow. He's not a fast guy, and it just like he would loop around and then he would just end up back on the line of scrimmage. Can they stop running that? Like, can they
just stop running with RVP? I mean,
he didn't.
Judy, actually, the interior defensive lineman. Did you think that Elijah Judy would be their most consistent guy 6 games into the year?
No,
they didn't stop the run.
They
did not get off the field on 3rd down like they have been doing.
No,
it was a very disjointed, lopsided game that at the end of the day, Nebraska won, and they're an imperfect team like almost everybody in college football except for 3 or 4 teams. It's just that's going to get them. It's going to get them here sooner than later, but it might not get them this weekend because Minnesota is not the line it up and run you over team they've been in the past. I think Minnesota is 115th in the country in rushing offense.
I can look that up.
Now, they stopped the run.
Mm-hmm.
They're 28th in the country in rush defense, but this is not your Minnesota is going to line it up and run you over. But it's a work in progress with winning one-on-one battles and, winning pressure situations, which they didn't bring a lot of.
Well,
they found a way to win, but they've got some work to do on defense. I didn't think they were great at times, especially tackling bad angles, getting to the quarterback. But when they had to make plays at the end, McCullough makes an incredible play on 3rd down and 2. They made plays and they gave the ball back to the offense, and the offense scored. So,
I mean, you're right with the whole eventually it's going to get them. You can make the argument. It already did get them in the Michigan loss, like their inability to stop the run. And I was getting really nervous toward the end of the game when Maryland started running the ball effectively and was putting themselves in 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 4, because that's a team that has not been able to do that all year long. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it seemed like they were going on that big run, that 17-point run, when they're able to do that.
Here is Joe. What's up, Average Joe?
What is up? How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Shout out to Husker Wrestling. We didn't get the recruits, these 2 guys that we wanted, but you never know. They may transfer somewhere down the.
Yeah, I don't. Bo ended up at Virginia Tech. I don't think he was ever going to come to Nebraska, but they're
I think
okay.
he was. I think it was a good fit for him. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I think Virginia Tech gave him the money up front, and Nebraska wasn't willing to do that. But it's kind of water under the bridge at this point. But a real quick thing about the defense, I think the defense played fairly okay. Are they perfect? No. Are they world beaters? No. But they lost Bullocks, who's in the NFL, Ty Robinson, who's in the NFL, and so he doesn't have the front 7 that maybe they did last year. But I do think Cade Petchock and Riley Van Poppel are going to end up being as good, if not better, than some of our previous D linemen.
Yeah,
but, I wanted to hit a little bit.
This is good that Cade's playing a lot in Big Ten because physically,
100%.
he's not on that level yet. Yeah, so he's getting. Rex Guthrie had a bad day. Rex Guthrie had a really, really bad day. But at some point, it's at some point the young guys playing, and Nebraska plays a lot of Utes over there on defense. It's going to benefit them down the line. Some of it's just physically. I mean, you're asking Cade to play in a grown man's line of scrimmage in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So there are some times where he's pushed out because physically he can't do it. But there are times where he holds his own and he creates something that I'm like, he's a guy you got to have on the field. So I'm glad they continue to play him. And they'll find a way to bring out the best in him. But they're a work in progress. The front 7 definitely a work in progress.
Van Poppel's young too. I mean, what's Van Poppel, a redshirt sophomore? I mean, he's got a couple more years too. But anyway, during these games and post games, and we don't even need Worlds of Fun because Husker football is like a roller coaster ride. But these fans, these grown men, can't seem to, and I say this, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but they can't seem to handle their emotions. Dylan Raiola sucks, pull him. Also, the defense, I think, played fairly well because, the offense turned it over, 3 times, putting them back out there. But anyway, these football fans can't handle their emotions, and sometimes it's just irritating. Raiola sucks, pull him, never play him again, and it's just ridiculous. And I mean, it's nothing new. Cornhusker fans have sort of been through a bunch of roller coaster games for 10, 15 years, and we haven't always come out on the good side of those. But also wanted to mention a little bit, if you sort of talk about it out loud, I think the people that are using these hyperboles of like, well, Rule will never leave. I don't know if I'd agree with that, because he is friends with the AD. It's back home. You know, he went to school there. So there can be an argument on both sides.
Yeah,
I mean, what's that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't use the word
Yeah.
never. I just what my gut says. But there's the emotional tie that we know nothing about. And if you want, and if that's the job he wants, then thank you.
Mhm.
You left Nebraska in a
Right.
better spot, but I don't think Dannon will have to be going to his short list.
Yeah, but I think he gets along with Troy Dannon. You know, they flew
That's-
out to
it's a
the
fit.
Crawford fight. You see him after he was
Yeah.
walking with Dannon after the Maryland game. You know, those guys
It's
look like they get along really
yeah,
well.
they
And
do.
He does get along with that PSU Kraft, I think his name is, their athletic
Pat
director.
Kraft, yes.
Yeah, but I think he can make a statement. He can make a really good statement. He's trying to make sort of this image at Nebraska with his podcast, with some of the stuff that he's doing. And I believe it's genuine. I think he is a family man, and he's a rooted family man. I think Scott Frost might be a family man too, but I don't think he's as rooted as Rule is. And if he was to come out and say, you know what, I just care way too much about these kids at Nebraska to leave them, I think that can make a statement and sort of push his image that he's trying to create even farther. And I think it's genuine. I don't think it's fabricated. And I would like to see him do that. Well, I'm sure he'll make some kind of statement today, but that's what I got, Gary.
Yep. Thanks, Joe. I will say acknowledge. I don't think there's a statement to be read. I think just an acknowledgement of all of Penn State. And it might be, you know what, it's a tough business, whatever about Penn State. And you know what, I pay attention to my alma mater, and, you're not going to say, I don't
Wish them well.
I would hope any coach would not put themselves in a box and go, I am staying at Nebraska, because we've seen this where all of us are, I'm not just saying staying at Nebraska, but staying at your current school.
Yeah.
And then in the, at midnight, you're out in the darkness. So it's okay not to box yourself in, but acknowledge that it's out there, and then move on to your current football team, which is the most important thing. That they would feel let down, but I don't know. The culture is good. This is not a distraction, and not a distraction being ranked.
No, God,
The
no.
distraction is, how are you going to run the ball in Minnesota?
You don't want him to come up with a piece of paper with bifocals and
he
read a
won't.
statement?
He won't. He won't. He will do it in a Matt Rule.
Here's my top
and a Matt
5 for my
Rule.
alma mater that I like.
You're listening to Take Five.
Guys, if I was going to leave Nebraska, this is where I would go to work. Okay? I would go into the podcast industry, and I would crush all of you for things that you've said that are completely wrong about the sport.
That would be an amazing answer.
Oh! I got to get Brian there.
He had a good one.
He can just become the new Pagano on McAfee.
Here, so one quick thing about what Joe said. I don't blame fans for having mid-game crash outs.
Sure.
Because it's history, and change is hard. Okay? Some have only been here a couple of years. Some have been here longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken 5 years to get to the point where they win games like last week and this week. So if you have a mid-game crash out, it changes hard. This is like new. We don't know how to react to it. Okay. Now, I will also say this. I need more of winning close games, that they're not a fluke, and winning close games against teams that have little numbers next to their name or are perceived to be in your neighborhood or better than you. Before I go, the narrative has completely changed.
I totally agree on the latter. I know what you're saying about the mid-game crash outs, but if there's 7 minutes left in the third quarter and you're sending me the Vince Carter "it's over" meme, okay, I have a complete right to get annoyed at you and make fun of you if Nebraska ends up winning that game.
I'm sorry I sent you a ball game with 240.
I know. You sent me ball game during the Michigan State game too.
Hey, let fans be fans, whatever they want to do. Policing. Also, let fans open their eyes, and you can see that change is hard, but this is the new Nebraska. They've leaned into their identity, and they're going to change. They're trying to change the way we all think about this football program. And for 2 weeks, they've kind of done it.
Well,
it's the role. It's that fan is short for fanatic for a reason. So it's okay. I'm not into the fan policing. Just know that it's okay to accept change if change is real.
I'm in favor of making fun of my friends. That's what I'm in favor of.
Well, let's make fun of him. Who was it?
My buddy Ari.
Ari. Bad.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Ari, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Did Ari follow it up when the game was over?
He started celebrating like he was
Yeah.
like he knew it the
Front
entire
runner?
time. He
Front
is
runner?
a front runner.
Yeah,
Thank you.
own it. Own it. And call in and apologize.
We're gonna clip that and send that to the group chat. By the way, thank you.
Quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this hour. Evan Bland coming up in the next hour ahead of Nebraska and Minnesota. PJ Fleck, Matt Rule. And 2 quarterbacks, thanks to Captain yesterday on our Average Joe podcast.
Oh,
the only 2 quarterbacks in the Big Ten, according to the captain, that did not run track in high school are playing quarterback on Friday night.
how do you find that out?
We all know.
How do you?
We all know.
The stats that matter.
We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we have 2 playoff baseball games today. Game 2, Seattle and Toronto, as the Mariners carried a little momentum, a little adrenaline. Won last night after Springer hit the home run to lead off in the bottom of the first. And then after that, nothing else happened. And so the Mariners are up 1-0 in that series. Game 2 today, because baseball hates Seattle. It's at 2 o'clock local time, and they love Canada. Okay,
They
maybe
do
not.
love Canada.
And then the Dodgers and the Brewers play tonight. It is not David versus Goliath.
Let's go Dodgers, baby.
Yes, Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers.
Dodgers in 5.
Okay with that.
I don't know.
I will take that. Well, they also Ohtani needs to wake up, but Milwaukee doesn't have a left-handed. They don't have a lot of left-handed shutdown guys, so Ohtani will be a little bit better.
The apprentice big Dodgers.
Short
fan.
series, I would think the Brewers have a chance. Longer series, I like the Dodgers.
Funny, if Ohtani ends up winning a World Series, but he's not very good, do I still have to admit that he's the greatest of all time to you? Is that a part of our
Well,
our
apparently we only do the regular season, so yes, you'd have to.
bets? Okay.
Also, you want a little weird stat about the 4 teams in the LCS?
All of their players ran track in high school.
No, you love that stat. Raiola and Lindsay did not run track
That's
in high school.
crazy.
3 of the 4 home fields have roofs.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
if that's ever happened, has it?
But only one is
I-
climate
I-
controlled.
I couldn't
The other
tell
2 are
that.
just canopies.
Also, and I know you did, I know a lot of people did.
You're crazy.
We saw the perfect game, the perfect announcing, the perfect umpiring,
Oh,
the perfect moment. Everything was so perfect about that 15-inning game on Friday night for Seattle to win in 5 over the Tigers.
There's-
It
Can't believe
was
I fell asleep.
there was no way Seattle was going to lose that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what baseball should be.
is there anything better than watching like playoff baseball, knowing that the 2 fan bases are absolutely dying right now? They're
And it's
in
not
hell,
you,
and it's
Oh,
not
it's
you,
great.
and you're just
It's
like,
great.
this is great. I'm having a great
Yeah.
time.
Also, if you want to be amused, the big dumper last night went yard, 62nd time this year if you
Yeah.
combine regular season, postseason. But check out the guy that's a huge fan of Cal Raleigh right behind home plate. You can't miss him.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. And check out his T-shirt.
Oh, I did see that. That was awesome.
Evan Bland coming up in about 30 minutes on 1620 The Zone. All right, doubleheader of football tonight. The Bills and the Falcons. Go Falcons. Chicago, Washington, I could care less about because they're not in the AFC.
Come on. Can you not throw me a bone?
I don't care either if it means.
I don't care. It's not helping my team.
You
I'll be
guys are
watching
supposed to-
baseball.
All right, so it helps the show because you'd probably sleep in. You wouldn't come in if they got beat. So
Actually,
Well,
they
go-
won when he
Actually,
slept.
Go
yeah, it's
Bears.
the opposite.
Oh, that's right.
It was off of a win.
Now you have that weird.
Why would
like
it
the
help the
Bears-
show if I slept in, by the way? That was kind of rude.
Ask your boss. So the Bears have lost 10 of their last 11 off a bye. I see that.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, maybe he wants revenge. They ended his season last year.
I don't know. I'm excited to see Ben Johnson.
They want revenge for the back-to-back divisional losses in 86 and 87. Very bad.
Look, the product of
Football was better back then.
It was.
the product of
The Bears were better back then.
they
Much better.
were a lot better. Well, they're actually better in 86 than they were in 85. Not
Yeah.
a lot of people know that.
Then they started a little guy.
Well, then McMahon got hurt. That's what happened. Who's that Packer who did that? What a terrible human. Who injured McMahon.
Yes, I know
He
what you mean.
slammed him to the ground. I
Yeah.
His
forgot
last
what
name
his
Martin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Russell Martin?
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
It was an
War
absolute-
93.
Absolute cheap shot and just ruined the Bears season.
Could've
Bears
just
would have
started
won.
Tom's act.
Bears would have won in 86. They would have won Super Bowl in 1986 if that didn't happen. Regardless, though, the whole Bears have lost 10 out of the last 11 coming off of bye is simply off of the product of having bad coaches. And one of those coaches, by the way, was an offensive mind
Yeah.
that you would think coming off of a bye, they would have this great game plan. Nope. No, they didn't. So, but I trust Ben Johnson.
Okay.
Have
You get to hope Daniels doesn't have a great game against you.
well, I'm more worried about the run game. We have not been a very
That's
good
true.
team at stopping the run, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has been
Charles
absolutely
Martin.
incredible. And
Charles Martin, thank you.
and Cliff Kingsbury is like we talk about throwing the ball and bombing the ball with Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury. His run scheme is absolutely incredible. So I'm more worried about that.
I think it'll be a good game. That'll be a fun game. I enjoy watching the Bears.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Can you root for them? Come on, root for them with me. We're friends.
No, they're not my team. I rooted for my team last night.
I rooted for your team last night.
Okay, well, congratulations. Thank you.
Well,
We're built different.
Thank you for winning. I
Okay,
appreciate
well.
that. It's really good.
Hey, we needed a win.
If Chicago wins today, I told someone this. If Chicago wins today, it'd be like their biggest win since 2018.
No, I could see that.
It'd be like
Hmm.
since they beat the Rams on primetime in 2018, like that was the last big win Chicago's actually had. This would actually I'd
Yeah.
start looking at the standings if they won this game, which is scary.
You guys, well, I mean, hey, at least you're not in the AFC North, which the last
Yes, it's been terrible.
3 weeks have been 2-9, and the only 2 wins are out of the Steelers.
Well, and by the way,
Aaron
too-
Rodgers having his last dance go around.
well, I mean, who have they beaten? They haven't beaten.
You
anybody
can
that
only play the
great.
teams that are in your schedule, and
but-
you can only go up against Kevin Stefanski so many times when he has Dylan Gabriel throw the ball 52 times. 5 years, no growth. Maybe it's time in Cleveland to find something different. But the AFC North, the Ravens are done. Now you're going to say they're done? They're cooked.
They're cooked.
They're cooked. You don't want to eat and Raven,
Well,
but they're cooked.
the
The Bengals behind that offensive line, Flacco looked different yesterday,
yeah.
but that offensive line, and then,
I was not saying that the Ravens were cooked because they still had Lamar Jackson, and now they no longer have Lamar Jackson.
cooked,
And
rock bottom.
Cooper Rush somehow has gotten worse.
They can't even execute the tush push. If you can't do a tush push,
That was brutal.
I think you should probably hang up the
But-
whistle.
By the way,
John Harbaugh, Penn State.
you have Derrick Henry in the backfield. The fact that they don't give that ball to him 4 times. is
John
crazy.
Harbaugh, Penn State.
No, he's not.
Okay,
going
I was
Penn
just trying.
State.
I was just throwing
There
it out
was a
there.
show cause. Isn't there like a 10-year show cause that he has or something like that?
That's Jim Harbaugh.
That's
Or,
Jim
sorry,
Harbaugh.
sorry, I got him confused. No, John Harbaugh's not going to Penn State.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
John Harbaugh will go to.
Do you
another
guys
NFL.
think that Brian Branch will be suspended today
Yes.
for his antics,
Well-
his instigating last night at the end of the Chiefs Lions game? That was clown material.
Oh, big
Even
time.
his coach called him out as he slapped Juju Smith-Schuster and would not shake hands with the GOAT,
Yes, the quarterback of the Kansas City
who
Chiefs.
is playing great right now.
He's playing incredible football. He won't get
Mm.
suspended. He'll get heavily fined.
What's a fine? If you flip the bird to Jets fans, you get 250,000 fine. If you start a fight at the end of the game,
Probably half your paycheck. So whatever his paycheck, because they Jalen Carter, they suspended him. They fined him 57,000, like a very
Mhm.
specific number. That was his game check. I imagine they'll probably take a pretty hefty percentage of his game check out.
okay. So we'll watch that. The NFL will have to make a decision. I mean, let's turn on. I'm sure this is a topic this morning on the Talking
I
Head
guarantee you
shows
it's
that-
Caleb. I
It's the
guarantee you-
Cowboys.
No, it's Caleb. Caleb's up there.
No, it's Mahomes, as it should be.
And
Right
we'll
behind,
road
right
to
behind
s-
Baker Mayfield, MVP. Baker Mayfield right now
Whoa.
MVP.
Well,
He looked good.
yes, Baker Mayfield right now.
Love me
MVP.
some Baker Mayfield.
Mahomes is playing incredible.
So is Daniel Jones.
I thought it was over. I thought he was done.
Daniel
I did
Jones is
too.
playing great football.
I did too. Hey, there is nothing like Sundays with Baker Mayfield and the full entertainment. He is an absolute dog who is doing work without their 4 top wide receivers. He is the MVP to me right now. And that franchise we should just adopt because they got Levante David still, the old man still balling.
Yeah.
And
Big play.
and-
Massive play.
And the GM used to be a bartender in Lincoln. Okay, so maybe we should adopt the Buccaneers and feel bad for San Francisco.
My new team.
What?
Boza-
Buccaneers?
I mean, he's presenting a
No,
great case.
No, you can't.
You can't switch
You
teams.
can't drop your team.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad for the Niners. Niners can't catch a break. Bosa's out, and then Fred Warner.
Yeah.
He's done for the year as well.
Sucks.
And he was playing at like a defensive player of the year
Mm.
level. I mean, he was keeping that entire defense together. I think that the media and just fans in general have been kind of the last couple of weeks have been clamoring to put Baker Mayfield like in the top of the MVP race. The last 2 weeks, his last 2 games, he has. It's no longer, oh, we're trying to give it to him, but we're trying to like paint that narrative. He has earned it. I mean, he was incredible against Seattle and he was incredible against San Francisco. And now he's kind of turned into the Mahomes guy where it's just like at the end of the game, who would you rather have as your quarterback and in the fourth quarter down a score to win the game?
Pat.
Right now, it's
I don't
Baker.
care who you-
Baker's done it,
I'll
but
always
Baker's
take
done
Pat.
this season right now. Baker has done
I
it
get that.
week in and week out.
I love Baker. I'm still
He's done
taking
it every
Pat.
single week, it seems like. When they need him the most, he just goes out and does it. But I do want it. Daniel Jones, Colts look great. Colts look awesome. It was a big win. against
Regular Jack
Arizona.
Trudeau.
A massive win against Arizona.
BTN Plus is getting crushed yesterday. No surprise. The Purdue Nebraska volleyball match.
Did it
The
sound
Nebraska.
good? The students
That's why
didn't-
it's getting
they didn't step
crushed.
up to the
No,
plate?
they probably should have. I mean, it was number 1 versus number 12, and Nebraska ruled. I mean,
They didn't go with the acorn.
Harper Murray, I think she's a better volleyball player after going to Tate McRae. So as a group, they went to the Tate McRae concert here in Omaha on Thursday.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You didn't go, did you?
But her last, like Washington Friday night, and then yesterday, she was near flawless. I think they're better. I think they're better for going to the Tate McRae concert. Now, I'm not sure if Andy Jackson dominated the middle yesterday, if she went to the Tate McRae concert. But yeah, they got better as the match went along in a
Yeah.
very hostile environment.
Mm-hmm.
But BTN Plus, a lot of, Nebraska volleyball fans hold it to a standard. I mean, we're spoiled
Oh, yeah.
with John Baylor and Lauren Cook, okay? And then we get Putney and some others that come through here. So we're spoiled in good volleyball play-by-play
Announcing,
and analysis. So you had the students on BTN Plus doing it. I wish they would have paired them with somebody experienced, not kick the students off, but paired them with somebody that was experienced because it was a little bit of a rough watch.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. So I never announced BTN Plus volleyball games, and I did it for a reason because I was like,
It's a very difficult sport to call.
It's a difficult sport to call, especially if you've never like watched it, you're not a fan of it, or you weren't like if you're not totally involved in it like I am. And then to your point, Nebraska volleyball fans have an incredibly high standard of what it should sound like, and there are people who are not afraid to tell you that it's not sounding the way that it should sound. So I don't envy anybody who would do that.
All right, 3 weeks from today, there is basketball. I'll be at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Can I take a moment here to talk basketball? I just want to, because I know it's a 4th and Monday. All right, it's a Victory Monday. We are going to talk plenty more about Nebraska, Maryland, and Nebraska, Minnesota, and then maybe about Rule to Penn State. Just the discussion about Rule to Penn State.
Oh,
should
somebody
say.
almost drove off
But you
Dodge.
know what happened yesterday? No, I mean,
Oh, you
they
scared me, Sharp.
They fired James Franklin yesterday, and they hired their guy.
It's
today.
over.
Hey,
Okay.
Epley should not allow any flights into Pennsylvania. No flights into Pennsylvania. Just shut it off for 2 months. One flight that goes into Pennsylvania, people are going to think, "Oh my God, he's visiting.
It
Oh
was
my
a
God, he's talking.
Southwest flight
Oh
to
my God.
Philly.
Oh my God."
Down.
Everybody's freaking out about it. Just no flights to Pennsylvania. Just cut that out.
I don't think we're going to have to be doing this, so please keep me updated. But yesterday, just out of the blue, we had the Ken Palm drop. So the Ken Palm rankings are out.
Okay.
Did you happen to see them?
I saw some of them. Like I saw Purdue was 3. I saw Houston was 1. I saw St. Thomas was 158th.
Yep. Omaha's 187th.
Okay.
Which I think would put them 4th in the Summit League.
When they expand the tournament to 200 teams.
Not a surprise because they're doing the metrics and you're without the player of the year in the conference, even though you return over 50% of your scoring. So they're 187th. Nebraska is 51st. So the Big Ten is going to be a little bit deep. They are 14th in the Big Ten.
Okay.
But they're 51st in Ken Palm. Now, here's the one that I went, huh? And then if you click on the Creighton profile, do you subscribe to Ken Palm? Add that to your subscription.
No, I don't. I don't subscribe to Ken
Do you have
Palm.
money to pay for that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's either Ken Palm or the Blackstone. So we're
Ooh, Ken Palm.
No, what do you mean? I want eggs in the morning.
It's a stovetop.
Yeah.
No.
But
if your first Blackstone should be an outdoor grill.
Okay, but like I can't do that with my current living situation.
So he's saying you wait.
Well, save it. Wait. It's a buildup.
But like, is there anything better than like you wake up in the morning, you got the eggs on the flat top, and you got the bacon, you got the sausage,
skillet.
Are you making eggs before work?
Well, I'd be making
Exactly.
this on Sunday.
Exactly.
No, but it doesn't.
So one day a week you would use the Blackstone.
Yes.
You know what? Once the basketball season starts in 3 weeks, Ken Palm every day.
Okay. What would you rather have? Numbers or an English breakfast?
Breakfast.
What would you rather have? Once a week or every day? I'm going to say every day. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah, but I can't eat.
I've got the stamina to click on Ken Palm every day. You would just have to 1 week.
You need so much stamina.
1 week, you'd be like, oh, let's bring out the Blackstone. Then it's going to be cumbersome because then you got to go and you got to put it away and then you got to pull it out. I think invest in the Ken Palm. Wait for an outdoor Blackstone.
Your significant other walks into the room. You're sitting on your couch. You're in a full sweat. What have you been doing, honey? I've been on Ken Palm. It's exhausting.
So does Ken know? So Ken Palm may not know. Creighton is 41st.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
So they're projected.
Why?
So Creighton on the Ken Palm projection. Well, this would be fun for you doing the post-game call-in show. 18-12, 11-9 in the Big East, missing the NCAA tournament.
No way.
So they have the 22 offensively, 65th offensively. We're usually big fans of Ken Palm. I like to talk meteorology with him.
Why do you talk
meteorology? Because he's a meteorologist.
He knows this
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah.
And you send your weather takes to him?
I sat next to when Omaha played at Ralston Arena before Baxter was built. Ken Palm came into town to watch Doug play, and then Omaha was playing a night game, so he came over to Ralston Arena, and I chopped it up with Ken Palm, and I was like, "This is awesome." And so he told me, because I said, "What the hell is your background?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I was into numbers, live in Utah, meteorology, blah blah blah." I went, Ooh, what's it like with the weather?
Started talking about Dopplers.
So he has Creighton not making the NCAA tournament.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I think that they will go over the projected 41st in the initial Ken Palm rankings. The other thing I noticed, and we're headed here because we're going to expand the tournament to 76. The divide between the Power Five in basketball and the rest probably has never been greater because all 79 Power Five teams are in the top 96.
Wow.
Yeah, so the divide is pretty stark. And so Sankey and Petiti are going to get their way, and they're going to push out the little guys, and the big guys are going to come in, and you finish 15th in the SEC, you're probably going to be in the tournament. Very, very sad day.
Not until
But it wasn't a sad day yesterday. I enjoyed looking at the original Ken Palm. But Creighton 41?
That's crazy.
That would guarantee Mac would come back for another year. He ain't going to go out like that. No NCAA tournament? I don't believe that.
See, you say that about the big guys until just little old Omaha wins another Summit League title, another Summit League tournament, 15th seed, playing Purdue in Cleveland.
If Omaha goes back to the NCAA tournament this year, they'll be a 12 seed.
A 12?
A 12.
That high? That's way too high. That's super high. That's like at-large territory. They won.
Out on Durango?
Wait. I'm not being negative and I'm not being out on anybody. I'm just going off of history and what the Summit League typically places. If Omaha makes the tournament as a 12, that means they went undefeated in the non-con.
Don't listen to him, Crutch. We got you.
And beat P5 teams to begin the year. They're 12. That means they are They go on
A
one
wagon.
hell of a run.
They're 12 seed. That means they've gone to LSU and won. They've gone to
Yes.
Eugene and won.
Yeah.
You're saying they can't?
I'm saying it's if we're just playing off the numbers.
If
they're
they
highly
change that
unlikely.
floor, are your eyes going to be okay?
They're better than. Well, I think people in the league know what they have.
Oh, yeah.
They're better than.
People are giving them credit for.
I don't know. People are giving credit. So it's kind of an odd thing to say. If things go well, they have a really good basketball team.
Okay.
They have a deeper team. They don't have a Markel. They don't have a JJ yet, but they have a deeper team. So there you go.
Okay.
But
I'm encouraged. Look, I'm not going to get into a debate or takeoff or anything about Omaha Maverick basketball with you, but that'd be incredible. They were 12 seed. That'd be incredible.
this is a ball weekend because isn't Creighton Iowa State this weekend?
The exhibition.
And then, of course, BYU and Nebraska.
Yeah, AJ Dybansta.
Yes. It's exhibition intended instead of the secret scrimmages. We now have wide open exhibitions. So basketball season is here. 3 weeks from today. AP poll drops today. Ken Palm, take that. I think Creighton will probably be ranked in the back end. 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, that's where ESPN had
Ooh.
them, right?
The J-Screw will be fully husked. Their football team and their basketball team are ranked at the same time.
Oh my God, we got to find out the last time the Jays and the Huskers were both ranked at the same time.
It's going to be, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Are you sweating right now?
Oh my gosh.
You're looking at Ken Palm. You're thinking of rankings, the AP poll. You got to take a deep breath over there.
All right, Evan Bland going to join us before the hour is over. Plus, I will tell you who I think the perfect coach is for Penn State, and he's not even on betonline.org right now.
This has been the longest tease. This was teased at 6:15. I've
That's
been
the
waiting.
point.
Sometimes you got to wait. Sometimes the waiting is the best part.
I would love it if you just didn't say it. If you just
No.
Caitlin
I
Clark
got
thing.
it. I got it.
Did you eat the Emo's pizza I got you?
I have not.
Did you watch The Accountant?
No.
Talking about things that just aren't going to happen.
No, one of them will happen.
Yeah, pop that
pizza?
pizza in the oven. Yeah, there you
No,
go.
I'll let you.
Little
That's a
lunch.
tease. This is Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right, Evan Bland from the World Herald coming up next. We'll just only talk about fall ball. Nebraska and Omaha played this weekend at Haymarket Park. Omaha softball, Matty Agroff, fall ball game down in Lincoln. Omaha beat Nebraska. So
Nice.
everything is going on right now, and everything is going on at Backlot Sports and Bar, located inside the ACX Cinema 12 Plus in Elkhorn.
That's where we saw Cocaine Bear.
Yes, big games, big screens, best food.
You'd have loved it.
Backlot Sports Bar. Come see it for yourself. Detroit-style pizza, bone-in or boneless wings, or bring your own. Smash burgers and a great selection of beer while you cheer your teams on. Backlot Sports Bar. Listen all week for your chance to win gift vouchers. Huge place out there. Great people. 2 fine locations. One's in my neighborhood,
Okay.
and the other is there at the ACX Cinema 12 Plus. Yes, we need to do another movie night.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
The Accountant.
No,
We should watch The Accountant.
no, you have to watch something that's in the theater.
Well, we can have a cinema play The Accountant on the theater. We can rent it out. We can figure it out.
Okay.
I have a question for you. I got a text from my Aunt Nora.
Hey, Aunt Nora.
She's great.
She texts? She's single?
No, she's not. She's been married for a very long time.
What's her husband's name? Okay.
Jack, Uncle Jack, I believe. Oh, I'm gonna get him in trouble. I'm gonna get him so much trouble.
Jack and Nora.
I met him.
Great song.
Nora's great.
Hmm.
She
Shout out,
texted
Nora.
me this though, and I think she intended me to ask you about it
Why?
because she
Whoa.
loves you. She listens to the show every day.
What's up?
She
So this is a
stop
little-
it.
Hey, so this
Stop.
I'm here for this.
Hey, so
Stop.
this is going to be a little ditty about Jack and Nora.
Okay, because she
Were they 2 American kids?
yeah, very much.
Where did they
so.
grow up at?
Illinois,
Okay, so the Heartland.
in the South Side.
What was Jack? Was he like going to be a football star?
I don't know
Oh.
Uncle Jack what he was doing or anything like that.
Was Nora in the back seat of
I'm-
Jack's car?
My dad's gonna be really pissed at me that I kind of forgot.
Where they were growing up in small town Illinois, was there a Tasty Freeze that maybe they were
First off-
sucking on a chili dog?
First off, no.
Was Nora sitting on Jack's lap?
I'm sure at some point that happened.
Did he have his hands between her knees?
Probably.
Okay.
That's how love stories
All right.
begin. Also, too, they weren't in small town Illinois. They were in the south side of Chicago in Oak Lawn.
Well, back then during the Depression, it was a small town.
different time. Yeah.
I'm sure Jack was playing football for Mount Carmel or Brother Rice.
Well, I'm sure that Jack, as this relationship moved on, he sat back and he collected his thoughts and then he scratched his head and he did his best James Dean.
Aunt Nora texted me to ask you she goes, ask Gary if he has ever tried Izzy's Pizza Bus. We just saw, I know. No, I'm trying to get to the point. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm aware of the song. I know Little Ditty about Jack and Diane, 2 American kids growing up best they can. All right. Football star. I'm aware. I got a cold. All right.
Whoa. Don't give it to
Ask
us.
Gary if he's ever tried Izzy's Pizza Bus. We just saw it on Triple D and it looks delicious. Detroit style. My
D.
family owns it.
All right.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
So the Pizza Bus was the first, and now they have a bricks and mortar store.
Okay.
Yeah, the guys at Izzy's Pizza are awesome.
Okay.
It's a great conversation. And anytime you go in there, I highly recommend it.
All right.
So I don't know if they still have, because the Pizza Bus used to be over off of 108th.
Okay.
Yeah, 108th L, a little bit south of there. But now they're downtown on 24th. They got a great
Oh,
location.
they're down. I should go to them.
Yeah, they're downtown.
I'm right over there.
No, I highly recommend. Yeah, they're good people
I did not see.
who started at the bottom and now they're at the top.
Aunt Nora texted me and I was like, I haven't
Yeah.
heard of Izzy's.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just.
Yeah.
ask Gary.
So when Guy came in to look at doing his restaurant in the casino,
Oh, okay.
and this was a couple years before it opened.
Yeah.
That was one of the places he went and visited. So that's what,
Really?
from 23, I think,
Okay.
that episode. But yeah,
Yeah.
tell them when they're in town to visit me. We'll go.
She'll come to town to visit me. Okay.
People are asking a lot of questions about Nora. They're wondering if you have picks.
What? No. Aunt
Okay.
Nora is a
Picks
sweet,
or
sweet woman.
GTFO.
Tell
Aunt Nora's become a Nebraska football fan. She wasn't a Nebraska football fan before I got this job, and now
Good
she's a
on.
Nebraska football fan. I'm sure. Actually, I should text Aunt Nora and ask her if she's has any takes on Dylan Raiola. Got any?
That's
Aunt,
awesome.
Aunt Nora.
I'm all of a sudden a huge fan of Aunt Nora.
Does
Can't
she
wait
have
to
a
meet
Penn
her
State
when we
hot-
go to
we should-
your house.
Every Wednesday, we should have a segment where just Aunt Nora gives us her best takes.
That's a
All right,
hell of
we'll
an
do it on
idea.
Wednesday.
All right, cool. I'll text her.
From Backlot, Mike says, have you tried their French dip sandwich? I've had it at their West
Oh.
location. It's quite good. I've only done pizza.
The pizza was good.
Dude, if
That's what we
Backlot-
had before
if
cocaine.
Backlot has a
Pizza
French
and-
dip, I'm going.
The beer is really cold at the Exarban
Oh, yeah.
Village location. Chris says, can someone send the AP a memo with the final score when we played Cincinnati? LOL, what is happening here? Do not trust polls. Haven't we learned anything in this country? Do not trust polls. Yes, Cincinnati's 24th in the AP.
That is a great point.
Nebraska is 25th. Okay. Yes.
But Gary, they've looked better in the last couple of games that they've played. Brendan Thorsby, he's a brand new quarterback. He's not the same guy in Cincinnati.
Is that how Jack sounds?
No, that's
Oh.
no, not pretty sure. Also, too, Aunt Nora is married to a Henry or a Harry, not a Jack. But I don't.
Wow. Aunt Nora, call in.
I can see
I
how
was-
close you are to Aunt Nora. Aunt Nora, I know who your husband's name is, and
No, you
we've never
don't.
met in person.
She would love to meet you in person. She's a big fan.
All right.
Anyway, no, that's my impression of the AP poll voters minus Sam McEwen.
Okay.
Because like Sam's great, Sam's awesome.
Sam
But
will-
everybody else,
Sam will be on tomorrow. And we'll ask him, did James Franklin get fired because they expanded the playoff?
no. James Franklin got fired because he lost to
Ooh,
Northwestern
now,
and UCLA.
Think about this. The expanded playoff may expose some programs.
In what way? Like,
There's more opportunities to be in the playoff.
sure.
You know, when it was only 4, you're like, oh, man,
yeah, I
we
was
gained up
shocked.
short.
Yeah.
But now it's 12,
Well-
and you are of that ilk.
Yeah.
You should be in the playoff every year. I'm
And-
wondering if the expanded playoff, for some, they go, oh, this is great. Others go, oh.
Well, that's a great point because it used to be you could finish the season ranked 15th, right?
Mhm.
And you had a good year. Good for you, man. 9-3, hell of a season, right? Finish with a number right
Mhm.
next to you. Good job. Now you can't. You finish 15th. It'll be what the hell happened? Why couldn't you get
Yeah.
over the hump?
I mean, we might have to expand the playoff to save jobs.
Well, I mean, the more you expand the playoff, then the more the expectation becomes that you should
Yeah,
make the
true.
playoff. So then actually it might be
Are
the
we
adverse effect.
prepared this year to have a 3-loss at-large team?
Yes.
Okay.
We are fully prepared.
Here. Oh, let me get Brian here because Brian called earlier and we weren't able
This
to.
is
hook
that
up.
Brian.
All right, Brian, thanks for calling back. Welcome back to the show.
Brian.
Oh.
Come on,
Mm.
Brian. Got to keep the tan up. Brian.
Brian, I've already dropped Brian, so Brian's gone. If you want to keep talking to Brian, he's no longer.
No,
on.
I'm doing my, Family Guy. You Family Guy guy?
No. I mean, I'm not opposed, but I got so many other things going on.
I know Landman.
Yeah, it's coming out next month.
And
Caught
then
up on Tulsa King. All right, let's see if this is Brian because I want to give Brian a chance here.
you,
Brian has tried a couple of
my
times.
father and you would be best friends. I think you guys
Okay.
have the same rotation of shows that you're currently watching.
Ask your father.
What he thinks about Tulsa King?
No, what he thought about the passing of Diane Keaton over the weekend, which is very sad. 79 years old. What a career.
Text him.
Annie Hall, Godfather, father of the bride.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, Brian is back. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm glad that our connection on your end is working.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Sorry about
Our
that.
phones suck.
I just wanted to talk about the Matt Rule and the Penn State job. More times than not, or at least from what I recall, it always seems like those coaches always seem to go back to their alma mater. But some of the things that you said this morning make sense. I mean, he's really set a lot of roots here with his parents and his wife's business. And, he just rebuilt this program. Wow. It'd take a lot to pull up and go start over at Penn State. I don't know if you'd be starting over, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of having to be established. What do you think he'll address today? What do you think he'll say?
I think he will acknowledge that the Penn State job, maybe he won't directly acknowledge it, but he'll acknowledge that James Franklin and Penn State and, hoping for the best. He'll do it in a Matt Rule way,
Yeah.
I think, Brian, instead of letting it just be like the elephant in the room, because he usually addresses those kind of things sooner than later. So I think today he'll address it and then they'll move on.
So do you think, we would know, how do I say it? We would kind of know if he's going to take this within the
He's got to be in a discussion and be offered first before we can ever have these kind of discussions.
Right, I know,
Yeah,
but just by the way by the way he responds, and what concerns me is he's best friends with that athletic director. That's what scares me, but oh well.
Yeah, no, it's a dream job, but it doesn't always mean that it's going to be the job for you. He may have turned the Nebraska job into a dream job that he never figured. But all the things that you brought up, Brian, are true. It's just, I guess we're going to have to deal with this. But I don't know that I'd have him at the top of my list. I just don't. And then sometimes working for your friends aren't always the best. So you have to weigh everything. And sometimes you're a better fit at your current job than a job that you thought was a great job, especially a job that they just fired a head coach who 6 times has won 10 or more. Last year won 13 and was a win away from being in the championship game.
Hey, one more question before I let you go. Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay. One more question. I forgot that he moved his parents here. Why the heck? Matt Rule doesn't live in Omaha. I thought he lived in Waverly.
Yeah, his daughters go to school here in Omaha, a really, really good school. And so where they go to school, he brought his parents to the area to have them near his daughter's school.
I got you.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I had.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
Odds are -150 that Matt Rule makes a joke before his opening statement. When he gets up to the podium and is that it's a 10-second point before he finally kicks in. -150, he makes some sort of joke.
You guys have any experience with pods?
Yeah. Or he's like, what do you guys want to talk about, or anything like that, or something. He'll make a little sly comment.
Well, if he chooses Altoona pizza over Backlot pizza, then it's on. Evan Bland going to join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's welcome in our good friend from the Omaha World Herald, back from College Park, Evan Bland. Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Hey, side note, are we going to be doing a little red-white World Series at Haymarket Park this week?
Yeah, that's the plan.
All
Today,
right.
Tomorrow, and Wednesday should be. It's always fun. They had a long exhibition with Omaha, and now you wrap up the fall with some inter-squad stuff. So yeah, you always learn a few things. Should be a good time.
All right, let's. How was College Park? It didn't appear to be full. It appeared to be very loud for Nebraska fans. What was the general vibe, game day vibe in College Park?
I mean, the campus is it's interesting. It's all very condensed, kind of a wooded area. They had, I didn't remember this from 2019. They had like a farm in the middle of campus, like with a barn and horses and signs saying "Don't feed the horses." That was like half a mile from the stadium. That was kind of interesting. But the atmosphere was fine. I mean, the weather was good. I was just honestly blown away by the Nebraska presence on the one side of the stadium. Like, it truly felt like a neutral site game, especially late when it came right down to it, and Maryland's going to silent counts and things like that. Like, you just had to remind yourself that Nebraska's playing at a venue 1,800 miles away from Lincoln, and they're essentially matching or outperforming the home crowd. So that part was cool. And then I think, the post-game element where Isaiah Hunter starts high-fiving fans, and then the whole team comes out and does it. Like, to me, that had 2022 Iowa vibes a little bit, the fans were embracing the players. The players didn't want to leave the field. You're taking selfies with fans, like, it just kind of basking in the moment. So those are pretty rare. 2022 Rutgers maybe would sort of be on par with that a little bit too. But I just thought that part was really organic and kind of a special moment. Like, if you're traveling way out there as a fan, what a reward to be able to go down there and kind of have that exchange with the player at the end. So very, very memorable in that way.
So we know from the last couple of weeks, the kind of games that they've won, they're built different. But when you're built different and you have weird games, you have moments. And I was thinking about this yesterday, and then I remember, there was a terrible OPI that was called on Nebraska. I'm going to put you on the spot. You can only pick one, and maybe it's in the second quarter, maybe it's in the fourth quarter. What to you was the most important play in Saturday's game? Because you have a lot to choose from.
The one that comes to mind for me was the Desan McCullough 3rd and 2 negative play.
Yeah.
Maryland was moving down and had the chance to go up 2 scores. Doesn't happen. And really, to me, that was the turning point where Nebraska needed a stop. You kind of wondered how it was going to happen. Malik Washington was looking good. The run defense was so-so. And then you just had McCullough coming off the edge there and wrapping up the running back unblocked. And really, Nebraska turned it around from there. Got a couple stops and a couple scores. And I think if he gets that first down, you're salting away more time. Maryland's almost certainly scoring on that possession. So that's the one that comes to mind for me.
When it comes to running backs, right, we kind of see them hot out the box, right? Freshman year, they come out. I mean, I can name you about like 5 Wisconsin running backs that come out and immediately they make an impact. Looking at a guy like Emmett Johnson, in your opinion, Evan, how unique, if at all, is his evolution to becoming the guy, the running back at Nebraska?
Well, it's a cool story. It's not all that different from Amir Abdullah's story.
Sure.
Kind of under recruited, sort of forgotten, breaks out on his own, earns it. In some ways, it's sort of similar to Devine Ozigbo too, Nebraska's last 1,000-yard rusher, where he was discounted many times, I think internally and externally, as like someone who maybe couldn't be the starter. He was projected as a backup and kind of was treated that way at times. So I think Emmett Johnson's sort of the same way, all the way back to his recruiting process. And like it's an especially apt conversation to have right now because his own home state school didn't really show him any interest. And he talked about that before. Minneapolis kid who the Gophers really didn't want. Now look at him. One of the top most productive rushers in the Big Ten, going back to his home state. Like it's a cool story in that way. And he's kind of been the answer to a question that's confounded Nebraska for a number of years, which was like, what's a feature back look like? How who's a guy that you can hand the ball off to and will be durable and will be productive and can be versatile, both as a pass catcher and being able to pass pro, the running back, like all that stuff. He checks those boxes, and he's a good ambassador of the school too. I mean, he's always thoughtful, engaging with fans, those sorts of things. So cool story for him. He's a guy, probably one of the most indispensable Huskers at this point, where, the drop off from him to the rest of the running back group is significant, but there's really no sign of him slowing down. I mean, I asked him after the game Saturday night how he was feeling. He was like, yeah, I could take some more carries. Like I think he's just in that place right now, and Nebraska's going to have to do its job keeping him healthy and all the rest. But there's no doubt, like, this is certainly the best production they've had at that position since at least Ozigbo in 2018, probably Amir Abdullah more accurately. And Nebraska's happy to have him. One of the better individual stories on the team this year for sure.
Can they be a 60-minute team? They're a good first and fourth quarter team, but that middle stretch, they don't get buried the last 2 weeks. But can they be, Evan, a 60-minute team?
I mean, I think they can be. They need to show it. It hasn't happened yet. And I think, like, that's an encouraging thing from the last 2 weeks. Like, they beat two Big Ten teams, not great Big Ten teams, but two Big Ten teams while playing far less than perfect. They hung with Michigan and they didn't play a perfect game. So I think that's an encouragement where you say there's still a lot on the table. They can still get better at protecting Raiola. They can find a way to tighten up the run fits. They can avoid some of the giveaway mistakes that they've had, especially interceptions in the last week or two. I think some of that probably is about depth too. That's something that they're continuing to work through. Like, we saw guys on Saturday in key moments that we haven't seen a ton of. I mean, Caden Echternock was out there blocking. We saw Cortez Mills on the field, and he's been on there some, but like in really key situations, defensively, we had, you saw situations where Shavers kind of comes off and McCullough's hurt for a short time. And so they're turning to guys like David Hofkin on the defensive line. So, like, I think that's part of it too, is like you're seeing the depth build out in real time, and you're seeing Nebraska kind of shift that trust from practice into the game and saying, hey, we see what you've done. Now it's time to do it. And they don't have the luxury of winning by blowout. So you're putting them in some of these critical spots. So I think it's a team that has certainly some established starters, but they're also trying to find that next wave of guys that they can trust. And so maybe, we're so accustomed to watching Nebraska teams that sort of wilt once you get into October and November and wear down. Maybe this is a year where it goes the other way and they actually gain some momentum and excitement because there are new contributors that are developing and coming along the way. So yeah, I think it's possible. I think the schedule would line up in such a way that would tell you that it could happen. Like, they could do it against Minnesota or Northwestern. I don't think there's any compelling reason why that wouldn't be the case. So very different from past Nebraska teams, but yeah, I think the potential's there. Absolutely.
I want to ask you an Indiana question here, because before Curt Cignetti was hired, from 1899 to 2024, Indiana won 8 or more games 7 times. Okay. They are now in the last 2 years on track to do it twice. Curt Cignetti doing what he's done with Indiana, is it a him thing, or is it an actual model, in your opinion, that other teams can try and copy?
I think it's more Cignetti than it is something that you want to copy and emulate, take as your own. Yeah. I think like you look at how he's built that team. Part of it is in a way that coaches 5 years ago couldn't do. A lot of James Madison transfers follow him over, and great success. But his portal hit rate is also incredibly high. Like you start kind of looking at some of the players that they brought in, and some of them were high profile and some of them really weren't, and have been major contributors. I think especially you look at the lines of scrimmage on both sides, offensive line, defensive line. Like that was an area a year ago where you said, Indiana's kind of working around it a little bit. This year, that's not the case. I mean, what they did in Oregon to me was incredibly eye-opening. Like they won those lines of scrimmage and pressured Dante Moore and looked like the better team. So this isn't just like a really good 7-on-7 team with an average line. Like this is a legitimate top 5 national title contending group. And it's not like he's been at Indiana long enough to develop lines like that traditionally. So yeah, I think it's a message to other teams that say, yeah, if you hit at an incredibly high rate and some of these diamonds pan out, like it could happen. But that's not even the whole story. Like
sure.
It's his attitude, it's his swagger. How many times have we heard Matt Rule say, you got to act like a champion before you become one? Like there's no better example of that than what Indiana's done with Cignetti, even at his opening press conference, the Google Me stuff, and just the way that he's carried himself has been infectious to that community. I think he has a very unique personality in that way. He's just not afraid to put it out there, and you can tell he has strong belief in himself. So I'm just in the camp that that's much more a Cignetti thing than something a lot of other teams want to copy.
Yeah, he's turned into a great interview. Speaking of interview, presser today ahead of Minnesota. I would like one of the questions to be, what about Corcoran and Pritchett off of the fourth quarter, the last 2 drives? What's going to happen there? Is Pritchett going to be healthy on a short week? But we know that the elephant in the room is Penn State. I think he acknowledges it and then moves on. But if you had to phrase a question towards him about the Penn State opening, what would the question be?
I think it would be something to the effect of, why is Penn State, do you consider Penn State to be one of the best jobs in the country right now? I think that's what it would be, because they've got the brand clearly, but I think if you really start to break it down, like what are the things about that job that are all that different than Nebraska, or all that different than a lot of Big Ten jobs? Like the money is going to be similar. The recruiting ground out there is decent, but it's not spectacular. It's a place that's, I think, from a support perspective, pretty fragmented right now. So certainly there's the alum connection that he has, and his connection with Pat Kraft, the AD. But like, is his connection with Troy Dannon really all that less? I mean, I saw 2 guys after that Maryland win coming off with their arms around each other's shoulders, big grins on their faces. Like these are guys that chose to be together in a lot of ways. And so it's an interesting situation. I think it's worth mentioning that like it's a situation that Matt Rule had thrust upon him. Like nobody expected a month ago Penn State to fire their head coach. And so Matt Rule's just been doing what he's been doing, and now this situation is there through really no making of his own. So it'll be interesting. I mean, he could squash the rumors entirely. He could kind of acknowledge it and get back to work. I would think, fans and people want probably a definitive statement from him. I don't know that that's something that will come out of this, and we'll just see kind of how long this lingers. But would not have expected this press conference to be as interesting as it will be even a week ago, for sure.
Evan, if Nebraska ends up, doing what Matt Rule wants to do and accomplish what they believe they can accomplish, and just consistently going, winning 8-9 games, being in the college football playoff picture, do you think this is going to end up kind of becoming the reality of any time there's a job opening that Matt Rule's name would be thrown into the hat? Or do you think that, if he doesn't end up going to Penn State, probably no point in doing that anymore?
I think it's the latter. I think this is a situation that's unique to Penn State. Yeah. I really do. Like, from what I've heard from talking with Matt Rule over the last couple of years, like, he's invested in the community. His wife has a business here. His son goes to the University of Nebraska. they've got a great situation out in Waverly. He's built a ton of goodwill. Like, you don't do that, I don't think, if you're looking around. And so there are just so many things about that job specifically that would make sense. Again, the relationship with Pat Kraft, the fact that he's an alum, he's an East Coast guy. Yeah, just a lot of things that would line up in that way. Now, the other side of the conversation, of course, is what does Penn State think? Like, where are they going to turn? How high on their list is Matt Rule? But no, I really don't think this is a deal where if he stays and all these other jobs come open, he's going to go. I think he feels like he can win here. Obviously, they're now back in the top 25. Nebraska's given him what he's wanted in a lot of ways when you talk about natural grass and recovery stuff and just a lot of the nutrition aspect. Like, all these things Nebraska has followed his lead on. And probably the one area you would say that they could get better in still would be money for player acquisition and retention, above and beyond the rev share stuff. But you can work through that. So maybe this is one of those watershed moments where if he stays, you don't hear a peep about him moving jobs again for years and years.
Yeah.
And so I kind of think that's where it comes. And it's sort of forcing a lot of reflection in the moment here that we didn't anticipate, but maybe that's good in the long term if he stays.
Hey, we'll get you out on this because we should talk about Minnesota. So watching that game on Saturday night between Purdue and Minnesota had a rally. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They got a pick 6 that kind of turned the game around late. But Purdue was able to run the football on Minnesota. They ran for 253 yards, while Minnesota only ran for 30. Usually that would be swapped. So They have Drake Lindsay, who's a big guy, 6'5", 240. Darius Taylor only had 32 yards rushing. They're good at stopping the run, but they're not the familiar Minnesota of they just line it up and they run it down your throat. What is Nebraska walking into, you think, on Friday night as a second straight game as a road favorite, this time 5.5, in a place and against a team which Nebraska hasn't had much success against lately?
Yeah, it is interesting. This is not your slightly older brother's Minnesota team. Like, they don't run the ball particularly well. They're not, they're not a dominant defense. They're okay. Their receivers don't really have any separation that I've seen. So it's a game, to me, kind of, it's really about Nebraska more than anything. Like, if you play well and you do what you do, like, you should be able to win that game. I don't think there's anything that Minnesota's going to do, certainly when you look at it statistically, that they're going to overwhelm you, or, this isn't a super dominant time of possession team either. Like you mentioned, it's weird to see them not be strong along the lines of scrimmage. Drake Lindsay's not a particularly mobile quarterback. I think maybe he will a little bit, but that's not an element Nebraska has to worry about either. And, I think they come with motivation. They know the history. They know they haven't won in Minneapolis in a decade. And Emmett Johnson's going to have a chip on his shoulder, like we mentioned earlier, I think, about going home and doing what he does. And, with every game that goes by, like, Nebraska's building more belief that what it's doing can work, and it's getting more comfortable in uncomfortable situations and seeing the positive results of that. So I don't think that the history will have an impact on this game. I think these teams kind of are what they are in a different way than they have been in the last 8 or 9 years. So I kind of like where Nebraska stands on this. Minnesota just doesn't blow you away, really, in a lot of ways. I think they're a very kind of league average sort of team that beat another pretty average, although maybe rising Purdue team last week. So I like Nebraska's chances, and I don't think Minnesota challenges them nearly in the ways that we've seen in past years.
I agree. Evan, thank you for your time. Safe travels up to the Twin Cities, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks, guys. See you.
That's Evan Bland. If you want to go see Evan, you can go to the Red White Series at the Haymarket Park beginning tonight. I think that's 6 o'clock. The first game in the series is 6 o'clock. Case Sanderson had a good day on Saturday against Omaha.
God, so many sports are starting.
That's okay. That's okay.
We like that.
We like sports.
I know.
We work here.
We like sports.
I'm going to be buying so many subscriptions and magazines. My God.
When we come back, I'll tell you who should be on a Penn State list that I don't see anywhere else.
Finally. Been waiting 3 hours,
All
Gary
right.
Sharp.
Last hours upcoming of Gary and Matt on a victory Monday, a 4th and Monday on 1620 The Zone. No. Michael writes in to the Equitable Bank inbox about the Penn State coach. I think Brian Kelly. People in the South can't stand him. He just doesn't fit there.
I mean, he's not wrong.
It's a huge game, LSU Vanderbilt this weekend. It's another really good slate of big games. The Big Ten, as you were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, not good.
Third Saturday in October
But
this
the
weekend.
SEC slate's pretty good. Vandy's a favorite in that game.
Ole Miss at Georgia is the primetime game on ABC. Tennessee at Alabama, because it's the third Saturday in October. UNLV is at Boise State.
Oh,
Dan
hell yeah.
Mullen wins. Is he the Penn State head coach? talk amongst yourselves. 402-951-1620.
Is that your name?
But then you have USC and Notre Dame.
That'd be
Remember,
fun.
USC has a bye week. Then they come to Lincoln.
20-year anniversary of the Bush
game-
push.
But Michael's suggestion,
Mm.
can you imagine Brian Kelly at Penn State with that personality?
No, I couldn't.
So let's just
I could.
look at the current.
Is Brian Kelly your name?
No.
Okay. I was gonna.
My
be
name is
disappointed.
not on this list, but to be fair, I want to give you the list from Bet Online.
Okay.
Next, the odds to be the next Penn State full-time head coach. Matt Rule, 3-1.
Wow. Okay.
Bill O'Brien, 4-1. Have you seen what Boston College is doing this year?
Yeah. No.
But they already screwed him.
Yeah.
B.O.B., things were going well. They just did not support him.
Yeah.
No.
But he was starting to turn things, and then he went to the NFL.
I totally forgot. Did you forget that Bill O'Brien was the head
Mhm.
coach there?
He had to come in and clean up the mess.
Mhm.
did a great job.
Kurt Signetti, 6-1. Remember,
That's
Kurt
crazy.
Signetti makes $9 million at Indiana, and they could win a national championship in Bloomington. Okay?
But certainly he's going to
He
leave.
bet on himself. I think he bet on himself at the right place. Lane Kiffin, 8-1.
No.
Manny Diaz, 10-1. Former defensive coordinator now at Duke.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer, 12-1.
That's wild.
Herb.
A name that is starting to pick up a lot of traction. Joe Brady at 14-1.
Yeah.
Will Stein, OC at Oregon, 16-1.
Jerry Neuheisel.
Not on this list. Another solid name to put on any list, but remember, he's at his alma mater.
Yeah.
Brent Key, Georgia Tech, 18-1. John
coach.
Gruden, 18-1. Matt Campbell, 18-1,
want.
but Iowa State has lost 2 in a row, and that's a bad loss in Boulder. Bad
My
loss
dad
for the
coached
Clones.
running backs at Penn State, man.
G.J. Kinney, 20-1.
Good coach, but he won't go there.
No, not there.
These are the last 3 are group of 5s. John Summerall, Tulane, 20-1. Dan Mullen, 22-1. Kenny Dillingham is not on this list,
I was
which is
gonna
kind of
say.
surprising because Kenny Dillingham and Eli Drinkwitz are on a lot of hot boards. But y'all, you're missing the most obvious candidate.
Is this it?
Yes.
Okay.
Who isn't on
All right.
these lists, but I think would be great for Penn
It's
State.
going to be Herbie Husker.
Are you ready?
No,
Yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dion.
Mike Elko.
Hey.
Oh,
So Mike
okay.
Elko
All right.
has right now the best team in the SEC at Texas A&M.
Not bad.
Mike Elko.
We like him on this show.
Where is Mike Elko from?
Pennsylvania?
He is from New Jersey.
Okay. Close
You know
enough.
what Mike Elko's buyout is?
Oh, God.
Not like Jimbo's.
Yeah, I was going to say because they probably they had PTSD from Jimbo's. It's probably what, like 20 million, 10 million?
$6.5 million buyout from
Wow.
Mike Elko.
What'd you say?
Remember,
finding
he-
the couch.
He has good things
Oh.
there. You know, I mean, they spend a lot of money, but he's not a Texas guy. He's not a guy from the South.
Mm-mm.
Remember, he worked at Duke,
He did, and
and then he went to Texas A&M,
Kicked
and they're the only team in the SEC without a loss. Now
that's a
Penn
good
State
name,
opens
Gary.
up. People might say it's the SEC. The SEC, the Big Ten is a little bit ahead of the SEC. New Jersey guy.
Yeah,
He's not on this list. If I was running the show and I wanted a football coach, because I remember when you hire a football coach at Penn State, you want the other 17 teams in the league to go, oh crap.
sure.
I think if you hired Mike Elko at Penn State, there would be 17 other teams, including your major rival in Columbus, that would go, okay, I see what you're doing there. Instead of going,
Do you think they'd be doing that if they hired Rule? The maniacal laugh?
I don't think Rule at Penn State would scare Ohio State.
No, it wouldn't.
There's very few things that scare Ohio State, but you need to. That's when you
How
hire
many-
a coach.
Sure.
When you
How-
hi- like,
Yeah,
for
go
example,
ahead.
I'll give you a little brief one.
Okay.
When Nebraska actually hired Scott Frost, for a moment, the guys in Iowa City paused. They were
right.
like, okay. And then Frost had a Sunday press conference, and they went,
We're good.
"Ah!" But when Rule was hired, so this is from Iowa media,
Sure.
that they were like, okay, that seems like a solid rebound hire.
Yeah.
Not that we're like, oh no.
Sure.
But like, okay, they didn't shoot themselves in the foot 2 straight times. I think if you're at Penn State, your hire has to make the other teams in the league go,
Yeah.
okay.
See,
Damn.
my question would be, and this would be a good discussion of like, how many hires could Penn State actually make that would scare people? That would actually scare people. I don't know if there are too many that Because, and also too, like we talk about parity within the sport amongst rosters. There's also parity in the sport amongst like the quality of jobs, right? Like, can you imagine telling somebody 5 years ago, hey, the head coach for Indiana is going to have an opportunity to be the head coach of Penn State, and he's going to say, no, I'd rather be at Indiana. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's
Cignetti though is a unicorn. He bet on himself.
Yeah, but he
bet on himself.
Sure.
He's different. And remember, Curt Cignetti is 64 years old.
Good point.
And I think he's somebody that's got a chip on his shoulder. Is like, you're trying to pry me away from Indiana. You not see what we're doing here? We made a commitment to football. I'm getting $9 million. And oh, by the way, I'm the number 3 team in the country at Indiana, and I've done it in 2 years. What are you saying? That job is better. This is a perfect fit for me.
Oh, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's,
I mean, we just won a game.
Sure.
We won a game against a team ranked in the top 5, and it hasn't happened since here in Bloomington 2 years before a man landed on the moon. We got things rolling here.
I think the same thing can be said about like Kenny Dillingham. Like Kenny Dillingham is a guy who definitely presents himself as wanting to be the head coach of Arizona State for a long period of time, which is why he is very low. Like there's some coaches and some jobs that it's just, you'd kind of rather be there more so than usual. I can't really think of that many hires that would legitimately scare, the top teams in the Big Ten that Penn State can make. And what I like about your Elko suggestion is this. Here's why I like your Elko suggestion, because Elko came into Texas A&M and he's made that his program, right? Like, it's not like he came in and he like picked up the scraps and he was just trying to save it from what Jimbo left behind. Like, no, he came in and he goes, this is how we're going to build it. This is how we're going to do it. And now they're flourishing. I think that Penn State and the fans, they have this idea that they want to make a hire and they want that hire to come in and take the team and immediately go to the national championship and immediately win, beat Ohio State, immediately be back in that picture. I think what Penn State should be thinking of is like, we need to get a guy that's going to come in here, and we're not going to be talking about James Franklin. We're not going to be talking about the past. We're going to be talking about their program. They made it their program.
But their program is every year you should be in the playoff.
But I do.
It's not like that's why. Whenever Pat Kraft has a press conference,
sure,
they're not. I don't think they're looking for a proven builder. They're looking for a proven closer.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Elko last year at Texas A&M got him on the cusp of being in the playoff. They were in contention till late in the year, and look what they're doing right now. That's why again, he's not on any of these lists, and he may be like, nah, I don't want to mess with that. I like it here at Texas A&M. I like my AD. I like that guy named Trev.
Sure.
But that'd be tough somebody that doesn't need to. When the first time I ever saw James Franklin Big Ten Media Days, he had about 24 people following him with cameras, and they were doing documentaries on him, and it was like a show.
Yeah.
Mike Elko came to the College World Series 2 years ago with his gigantic head. He was wearing a size 8 ball cap.
It is a big head.
With his wife, and he just, like Texas A&M fans recognized him, but he just walked in. He came up to the suite, and when I had that little bit of interaction with him, he was just sitting there. He was just like normal. Nobody was like, like the boosters, the Texas A&M boosters that were in Trev's suite. They weren't like, hey, Mike, they were like, they just left him alone.
Yeah.
He just, you know what? Penn State would be smart to hire a football guy.
Sure.
A guy that knows ball, knows how to put a staff together, lets other people take advantage of the resources in the NIL. He wants to coach ball because that's what he's good at. And I think at Texas A&M, they've left him alone.
Yeah. No, they have.
If Penn State is smart, they will leave him alone.
He'd be a really good hire.
Yeah.
Now, your sentence, right? Penn State wants to hire not a builder, but a closer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think everybody shares that
Trevor
sentiment.
Hoffman.
I think that's obvious, right? But out of that list of people, right? How many of them are really like legitimate closers?
Well, these are all lists the day right immediately when you fire a coach that you're like, okay, who are going to be the hot names? I'm just giving you a name that would make sense.
Oh,
to
I
me.
know. I think that name. I'm saying that name would make more sense to me than some of these other names, just because. I mean, I just look at the list of people that potentially could leave and like could end up being the head coach of Penn State. There's not the pool of coaches that you can hire that have won conference championships and national championships and playoff games and so on and so forth. Like, there's not a ton of those guys that you could just go and pluck and take. Like, there's not a plethora of coaches out there who have won national championships.
But you got to understand, you are one coach away. Every job is one coach away from
one way or
that's
the other.
The guy that turns things around. That's Indiana. You're one coach away. But nowadays, you can't afford to wait. Okay? You can't afford if it's going south, depending on how you look at your program, to say, we're going to miss the playoff. We can't miss the playoff.
Yeah.
We need to be in the playoff every year because our rival over in the next state, they're going to the playoff every single year, and we can't fall behind because we're competing with them on Friday nights at a high school field and in rooms for money.
That's why you do it mid-season.
Yeah.
So here is Chad. Chad, thanks for holding. Welcome to the show.
Gary, Matt, how are you?
Chad, how you doing?
I'm driving across the western sticks of Colorado, and I'm just miserable. I can't wait to get out of here. But I have a couple questions. How soft is Penn State? I mean,
well, if you've looked at them play the last couple of weeks,
you're a terrible interception away from a terribly overrated Drew Aller from going to the championship game.
Yeah.
And you have turned into this. Okay. I don't see Rule going. I think you guys nailed it. I think they need a closer. Rule's a bona fide, builder. And I think he's got a lot of ties to our community already. I don't think he's going anywhere. But enough about Penn State. Are you guys all right with Saturday night?
Yeah. I was fine that they got it back to Milwaukee. They just could never get it going. And you have Hap, Dansby, PCA, and Tucker hit a combined 140 in the postseason.
Yeah.
So they've got some work to do. I wish Kyle Tucker well. Somebody will overpay him. But he hit 259 in the postseason with one home run. They need to add a couple of arms in the rotation. They're going to get Steele back. They're going to have Horton. So that's 1 and 2. Hap's got another year on his contract, but they probably got to figure out there. Do they make a swing at Schwarber, who ironically against your Cardinals hit his home run on top of the scoreboard on this date about a decade ago? Do they finish Schwarber's career at Wrigley Field as a full-time DH? They don't have as many holes, but like Pete Crow Armstrong needs to take a jump.
Big jump.
Yeah, and Matt Shaw needs to be more consistent at the plate to go along with the Gold Glove. So they're in
Gary,
they're not in a terrible spot.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I am jealous of the way you are a fan because I know you keep a level head. You are enjoy the ride guy, and I very much appreciate that. Can you tell us the last loss that stung
for the Cubs?
Whether it be football, baseball.
That stung?
Yeah, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Gary lost the Super Bowl in February.
Hey, you're a Chiefs fan. We lost a Super Bowl.
Well, I know, but you were expecting that. I don't know if that actually stung you.
Yeah, it did a little bit because, you get on that stage and probably what stung me is all the people that piled on me. I thought they were friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds great, guys. I love you guys. You guys have a great rest of the show, and we'll chat.
Chad, be good. All right. Oh, let's talk some hockey. Here is Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning, y'all. I just had a question for Matt and y'all.
Yeah.
Just have you been watching hockey this year? And if I could get some thoughts, maybe some UNO talk. I went to one of the games Friday.
Okay.
They won that one, and I think they lost Saturday.
Yeah, they won. They won. Simon was awesome on Friday night. They won 6-2. They lost 4-1. My understanding, because I didn't go to either game, that the officiating was awful both nights.
I saw that tweet.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then, you have any thoughts on the Blackhawks this year, Matt? And then Gary, if you watch hockey much? I don't hear you talk about it a ton, but listen to the show.
Yes. Thank you, Tom. Yes.
The Blackhawks suck. They lost to the Canadians. Tough loss.
I don't know. 3-2?
Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah.
That was competitive. Nazer looks good. Nazer, he took the offseason, got better, got bigger, got stronger. He looked like the best player on the ice against Florida. Spencer Knight.
Very depressed there about the Blackhawks.
No, it's tough, man.
It's Bears Day.
Spencer Knight looked really, really good against Florida. I didn't watch the Canadians game. I got to probably catch, a couple more Hawks games down the road. But Bedard, I like that he's playing on the wing more. I don't think Bedard's a center. I just don't think he has the speed or the strength to play two ways. And so I kind of like the idea of putting him up on a wing. And then they've been positioning him on the top of the circles, not just in the power play, but just in the offense in general. I think that's going to be really good for him. I think he's scored a lot of goals.
You hockey knower.
I played in my entire life, and I watched one game, and I'm like, this team isn't the worst team in the NHL, but they're not a good team. They played Florida pretty tough.
We're 2-1 through 3.
They're fast.
Which means it puts us more points away from McKenna.
They're really
It's
fast.
early.
But let's just be honest, people. The Panthers just had a 3-game homestand without blank, Barkov, Kachuk, some others. They went 3-0.
Yeah, they're so good.
Bruins are off to a nice start, 3-0.
What was I going to? Hey.
And also, every time you get a chance, if you're not really a hockey person, but you want to be entertained, anytime that Colorado and Dallas are playing, that's a game to watch.
Game.
As they played on Saturday night.
Is there hockey on tonight on TNT?
I'm
There's
watching
always hockey
2 football games and 2 baseball games.
Hopefully it's on tomorrow. I want to watch some hockey. Now I'm hockey pilled. Now I'm thinking about hockey.
Tom brought up hockey now. Like, oh, it's hockey season.
Well, yeah, a little bit. My mind is spinning, man.
Weird thing about college hockey. So Omaha split with Mankato. Saturday night there was no flow and the officiating was garbage. One friend of mine that was there said it might be the worst they've ever seen at Baxter Arena. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
It's good that teams around here that are not in your conference are good. Like Mankato and Augustana are 2 really good teams that I like to see Omaha play on a regular basis. But here's the thing about college hockey, and it actually may benefit Omaha because they have a couple of key injuries. Is they just started the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good weekend for college hockey.
Yeah.
What does Omaha do? Now they have a week off. Okay, so they're back home. They have quote unquote homecoming against UMass in 2 weeks, but they take the next week off.
That's crazy.
Like that's
just so dumb.
Let's just college hockey. Let's finish it in late April. Okay, so that the entire postseason is away from March Madness.
Yeah,
and let's start it. Let's don't make it from October to the middle of April. Okay,
I like that.
Maybe don't take 3 weeks off over Christmas. Maybe get started right after Christmas or right before. But they great weekend, good crowds at Baxter. Now they take a week off.
That's dumb.
Now welcome to college hockey. Season is way too long.
I want to watch Penn State though play hockey. I already saw one game. He looked great.
Mike says, do you guys think that James Franklin will get a better job than Penn State in this cycle?
No. Is there a better job than Penn State in this cycle? Would you say Florida
A
could
couple
potentially?
SEC jobs it could be coming.
Florida could. I don't think Arkansas is a better job than Penn State.
No.
I think it'd only be Florida at this point.
James
right?
Franklin will be extremely popular.
Oh yeah.
Penn State will be pushing him to get a job because I'm sure it lessens their buyout. But he will be coveted.
Oh, for sure.
But
What if Clark Lee leaves and then Franklin goes back to Vanderbilt?
Nope.
Okay.
He burned some bridges there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's on me.
Yeah.
Bad bridges? Like really bad?
Just this is the exit strategy.
Okay.
But he still supports Tim Corbin. James Franklin's been back here for the College World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
People are a little upset they didn't support Penn State baseball, but supports Vanderbilt baseball. Well, you're not gonna have to worry about that anymore. All right, 25 past the hour. When we come back, some additional thoughts on Saturday in College Park. Nebraska played a game. You may not know it. The guy that coached the football game still coaching the football team right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no clue.
He's going to stick around for Friday night because they got another game.
Okay, yeah, I hope so.
There's your pregame on 1620 The Zone. All right, couple of little nuggets here from the weekend. Enjoy your retirement, Mike Jershely. 48 years of professional baseball, 34 in the Kansas City Royals organization. Retired. 3 times he was the manager here in Omaha. 3 times they won league titles. They won a national championship. He had, over 1,200 wins. Jersh was fantastic, except when he would call you to question a official scoring ruling. And then Jersh and I had to have a come to Jesus discussion.
How many times could that happen?
Twice.
Okay.
One time.
Didn't it happen during the show?
No. Oh, no, that was Brian Polberg. That was Poley. It was something from the night before.
Okay.
The last time Jersh, before they changed how they deal with official scores and things that you would like change, he was not supposed to call me, but he has my cell number.
Okay.
And so he called me, and it was a ground ball to second base where second baseman was late getting into the hole, trickles on into the outfield, base hit. He wanted an error because he goes, you got to understand, those guys are pros. They got to make that play. And I'm like, that's not how it works. I go, that's not how this works. And he goes, but he should have made the play. That's got to be an error. And I go, he never touched the ball. I go, he was late reacting. He goes, but he's a professional. Professionals need to make that play. And I go, I can't change that just off of professionals should make a play because then it just screws up the whole system. Well, so then we went back and forth, and he explained, pro guys. And so I was like, okay, Jersh. But enjoy his retirement. Great guy. He's been great to the Omaha organization for his 3 stints here. And, this year wasn't as good as last year. So you kind of knew long baseball life.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got grandkids and he got a son that are involved. And so good for him. Good for Jersh.
Scoring on a curve would be incredible.
Couple of other small college. Let me mention a high school thing.
Okay.
So I came across this 8-man football this weekend. Creighton was playing 8-man football, not the program down the street. They were playing Ainsworth.
Okay.
There is a freshman named Hayden Horseman who has not carried the football season.
It's a great name.
So in this game, he carried it 42 times for 466 yards and 7 touchdowns in 8-man football.
Wow.
Hayden Horseman, only a freshman at Creighton.
That's incredible.
They beat Ainsworth.
Sounds
Then
like the Kansas defense.
Well, there was a wilder game. Oh, shout out, by the way, Ryan Held, former Nebraska player,
friend of the
former
show.
assistant. They're now 5-2 at UNK.
Nice.
Davon Hall
Hopes.
found a home. Looks really good for the Lopers. But Midland played Concordia this weekend. Small college football. At one point, Concordia, who's a top 25 or top 20 football program, they were up 38-7.
Okay.
Then Midland comes back. Jeff Jamrock, head coach. They take the lead 45-38.
Oh my God.
21 seconds later in this track meet, you have to ask because your buddy Grant was on the call.
Yeah.
So 21 seconds later, Concordia ties it at 45. Midland beat Concordia 60-52 in 2 overtimes.
Damn Big 12.
So Brody Johnson is the quarterback at Midland, local product, 7 touchdown passes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that game I think probably will get some national attention because it was 38-7, and then it's 45-38. 21 seconds after Midland goes up a score, Concordia scores, and they go into double overtime, and Midland upsets Concordia.
Speaking about UNK, I want to shout out my guy Isaiah Harris, who's at my buddy. I went to.
Was he second in Division II in rushing?
He's having a great year. He's got 700 yards. He's averaging 8 yards a carry. After he was at Nebraska for 3 years as like a
He was at Millard South.
Yeah. Well, I know that.
Speaking of Millard South, whoa.
I remember one time I asked Isaiah, I was like, "Oh, I heard you were good in high school football," and he goes, "It's like, yeah, take a seat."
Great question.
And then, well, he went on YouTube, and I would go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he got hurt late in his I think it was his senior year.
Okay.
Like Millard South might have been the number 1 seed his senior year. Yeah, he was a good player, just in a log jam.
Oh,
but he's gone out to UNK, and I think at
killing
one point he was number 2 in rushing in Division II.
It was his birthday yesterday, too.
Speaking of Millard South, so our good friend Doug Woodard,
yes,
has done his bracketology because there's only 2 more weeks left of high school football. Millard South is a 4 seed. You could have a semifinal between Millard South and Omaha West Side. Last year's state final, the 2 top teams in Class A. The game would be played at Phelps Field over at West Side. That'd be the semifinals because Millard South had a forfeit.
Yeah.
They had a forfeit. Not that Lincoln High forfeited, so it impacts them, but they had a forfeit a game. Yeah, they're going to be probably a 4 seed. The greatest 4 seed resume in the history of high school football.
Oh, easily. Maybe the greatest 4 seed resume in the history of sports. So you can go back and look at a bunch of Jimmy, give me a really good NBA 4 seed.
Give me some time. I was actually thinking about it. I mean, 1995, you had 3 teams of the top 3 in the West that all won over 59 games.
There you go.
And the 4th seed was the Seattle Supersonics, who weren't too shabby either. They were mid-50s and lost to the 5 seed Lakers, but I digress.
I hate that I use you as an NBA jukebox sometimes, but I know you.
Because I was at these games.
I know
I saw
were.
them.
I tell you
How was Kuzi?
It was much better back then.
Did I tell you one time that I just walked into the office and he was watching the 1997 second round of the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, I just had to get that fixed.
Joey writes into the Equitable Bank inbox.
He was no Sherman Douglas, by the way.
Ooh, good pull there.
David Wesley.
Why don't we just stick with our favorite Syracuse guards, Pearl Washington?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, come on.
What do you mean, guys? Come on.
I'm Syracuse guards. This is not my specialty.
All right, you're 0 for 1 for the week.
You took Jerry McNamara and Jim Boeheim.
Yeah, Jerry McNamara. You could have got that one.
I could have gotten that.
Yeah,
he's still hated in Lawrence today.
Joey writes in about Minnesota. Nebraska and Minnesota play Friday night. The Twin Cities could be some rain. Probably will be a good following of Nebraska fans.
A little chilly.
I guess they sold out the student section once again for a Minnesota game. They advertised that.
Okay. Like they promote that they sold it out?
Sell out street.
Is that supposed to... I'm sorry.
I like the stadium. I think it's a fun stadium to watch football.
Is that supposed to be a brag, though, that you've sold out your... Shouldn't that be a regular thing?
I don't know. Nebraska announces that when they sell out their stadium.
I mean, we just put another number up on that big number that's, in the stadium. But we have you ever seen Nebraska? Oh, Nebraska's student section gets sold out at the beginning of the year. And then you got to play the guest ticket lotto.
So Nebraska is closer to looking like Minnesota than they've been in a while. Because Minnesota has been known they play hard, they finish. Yeah. Nebraska plays hard, and they're learning how to finish. But Joey writes in, he goes, I've watched a lot of Gopher games this year to a family tie on the roster. I didn't know they were connected. Nebraska plays to their potential, and this game should be 1-2 touchdowns or more in Nebraska's favor. This is how I look at this game. And there's a lot of us that before the year began, if you were doing the schedule, and I'm a 9-3 guy, so if you guys want to join the 9-3 party, let's get busy. You probably looked at Minnesota and said past history.
Oh, big time.
So I think if you're picking Minnesota to win today, you're like, Nebraska doesn't beat Minnesota. Well, remember, we're learning how to change. Joey is right with this. Now, I have to look this up because I don't think this will, it may or may not be a story this week. Malachi Coleman, 1 catch, 6 yards. That catch was on a game on September 6th against Northwestern State.
Is he just not playing, or
he didn't play much?
Yeah.
I looked for him Saturday night. That's the longest I've watched. I watched a lot of the Cal game.
Okay.
But the Purdue Minnesota game I watched, that's the most I've watched of a Minnesota game.
Okay.
And I never saw him. He wears 16.
And he wasn't even out there.
No. That's 1 catch, 6 yards this year for Malachi Coleman.
Yeah, I didn't watch a whole. I got to go back. I got to watch that Minnesota. It was on in the background. It was one of those background games in the quad boxes because I was so focused on watching the Cubs absolutely not choke, but just lose in the NLDS. I watched a ton of. I don't know why.
God dang 6th inning.
I don't know why I was so locked into the Cincinnati UCF game. Like that game, had my out of all the games that went on this week, Oregon, Indiana, Texas, Oklahoma. I was zeroed in on the UCF Cincinnati game, where Cincinnati didn't look their best, but it was a really, really bad game plan by UCF. I mean, they're all the people who were trying to say, hey, why doesn't Nebraska bomb the ball against Cincinnati? Why don't they try and throw it deep? UCF tried to do that. They scored no points.
That's a phrase you don't hear very often. Like when I was growing up, when you'd throw the ball deep, you'd like, hey, bomb it down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, throw me a bomb.
Yeah. What do you mean?
We don't really.
You don't bomb the ball anymore?
No, that's hardly used.
I feel like we got to use it more.
Hey, I'm going to go down there and just throw me a bomb.
Yeah.
That was our fly route. Yeah, that was our go route.
Bomb it.
Hey, yeah, throw me a bomb. I'm going to be down there and just throw me a bomb.
We should.
You don't really hear people like football people go, hey, let's throw a bomb here. Hey,
yeah.
Like Guy Haberman doing the game. Not a relation to Gretna's. that was doing the game on Saturday. He's like, hey, this would be a great opportunity for Dylan Raiola to throw a bomb.
Yeah.
Well, he
a million
did.
percent.
He did. Things blew up. He threw an interception. Okay?
So I was actually trying to figure this out. So Nebraska, the line has moved a little bit. They're a 6.5 point favorite now against Minnesota.
People are watching the Emmett Johnson video about his love of the University of Minnesota.
Is that I didn't see that video. Did he actually say his love of Minnesota? I don't think he loves
I'm
Minnesota.
being sarcastic.
Yeah, that's
this
what
game
I
is
was gonna think.
personal to him, and guys will have his back. They'll be like, "We know what this means to Emmett. We're going to get him over 100. You know what? We're going to get him 200."
So
I just want 20 plus touches. That's all I want.
Nebraska against the spread this year. Can you guess their record?
Better than Penn State, who is 0-6.
Currently, I'm looking at it. It says they're 2-4 against the spread.
Okay, so the last 2 weeks haven't. Good teams win. Great teams cover.
Well, it depends on what you got the Michigan State game at. If you got it at if you bet it at the right before kickoff, they would have lost that. The final line was 12.5. If you bet it earlier in the week, they would have covered. So that's like one of those weird ones. Didn't cover against Maryland though. Didn't cover against Michigan either.
I think James Franklin got fired because Penn State's 0-6 against the spread.
Yes, 1,000,000%. That's why it took them so long to get the buyout money. They lost all their money gambling.
Adidas was gambling.
How about that? They're 0-6 against the spread. And you look at the teams they played early in the year in the non-con.
They were terrible. They were not good in the non-con. They were struggling against Villanova. That's when we really should have had the signs there. When they were struggling to score against Villanova.
It's really surreal.
Could you imagine telling
can you imagine one quick thing here?
Go ahead.
If you are like going out to Penn State and you were so fired up for that game, going to be a night game, that game could just be, well, might be awkward, but it could just be a miserable, like Penn State fans don't show up, a lot of empty seats. Nebraska's playing well. Nebraska has a chance to get to 9 or 10.
And then they lose. That would be
always that possibility.
Well, what I was going to say, can you imagine telling James Franklin on the sideline when they send the game to overtime that, hey, in 3 weeks, you're not going to have a job, man?
It's kind of surreal.
It's crazy.
Kind of surreal. Life comes at you fast as a college football coach.
It really does.
All right. We're back for a final segment after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Matt Rule will have his regularly scheduled press conference at 11:30 this morning. I'm sure people on the East Coast will be like, "Oh, Rule's having a press conference."
No.
This is a regularly scheduled weekly press conference of Game Week, which is Friday night for the $5 Bits of Broken Share Trophy, which has resided in Minneapolis since October 12th, 2019. Actually, I don't think it stays in Minneapolis, but it has belonged to the Gophers. Nebraska's lost 5 in a row to Ski-U-Mah. It's been a while.
That's a rivalry that needs a live animal.
Been a while. Frost, one of Frost's best offensive days at the office, 53 points. Ozigbo, Martinez, they look great.
It was windy that day, man.
That was the last time Nebraska beat Minnesota. They've lost 5 in a row. Now they're back up there to play on.
That was his
Friday
first
night.
win, wasn't it? That Minnesota game. Yeah.
They looked really good. That was how the offense should have looked.
Mhm.
Yep. But they've lost 5 in a row since then. And they've been, guess what? Last 4 have been 1-score games.
This is going to be a breath of fresh air to have Ethan Kaliakmanis or Tanner Morgan not playing quarterback for Minnesota. It seems like those guys just every year we're just suiting up for the Gophers.
They will have Drake Lindsay. The last time that Nebraska played in the middle of October was Hoodiegate.
Yes.
Lost 34-7. The weather, like 65 at kickoff, but rain is a possibility.
Oh, 65. That's balmy.
So Rule
Man.
speaks today at 11:30. I want to know, Corcoran or Pritchett, go. Also, what was the most important play on Saturday? I think the most important play, kickoff return.
By Kenneth Williams.
Yes. Shout out Detroit Style Pizza, which we'll be giving away vouchers later this week.
Nice.
From Backlot. But Lincoln High Link doing work. But run to the corner, man. Run to the corner. Not down the middle of the field. Run to the corner. I think that's the most important play of the game.
It's coming off of Maryland gaining a ton of momentum, and
They had scored back-to-back.
Back-to-back. They had scored 14 points. You're kind of sitting there and you're thinking, all right, like I thought Nebraska had this game in hand. I thought Nebraska was going to kind of cruise to a victory. Now you're in a dogfight. The last possession on offense wasn't good at all. And you're kind of sitting there thinking where the juice is going to come from. Man, he almost broke one off against Cincinnati.
That last possession was the stare down interception.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Like he almost broke one off against Cincinnati, and he has some wicked speed. And I think they've had a feeling that they were going to get a big explosive return like that from him. And then credit to them, they capitalized to score a touchdown on, and I thought it was great.
Great story. Beloved at Lincoln High. So he just kind of shows up at Lincoln High. Rule didn't know much about him and saw his track times in the paper.
Yeah, that's a great. He told that story at a press conference.
Yeah.
How cool that was. I think that's so dope.
So he's gotten the opportunity, and then in the video after the game where they gave him a scholarship because he was outside the 105.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so they've included him, which was really. But Nebraska's now number 1. When you go 85 yards, that helps.
Mhm.
But they're number 1 in kickoff return.
That's crazy.
It's the Eckler effect. But do we have an Archie Wilson discussion though?
No, we don't.
20
I think
yards.
He just shanked.
Stop telling him where to place it perfectly. Just have him boom. He also may struggle a little bit going left.
Yeah.
Like
So
he would not be
that's-
like a good auto race driver. And maybe in his country, because they have they go, the boomerang.
Great. Here's a great nickname because Archie isn't great at. Okay, Archie isn't great at going left, right? He's only good at maybe going right or whatever.
Yeah.
We can call him SVG, Shane Van Ginsberg.
Okay, that's not a terrible idea.
See, that's a good one. That's a very good nickname.
No one gets that.
Yes, they do. SVG 88 was a good race car driver.
If I said,
He's
hey,
won a bunch of road
Archie
courses.
Wilson, our SVG,
Yes.
people would know exactly what that is.
I think you would know.
It's like, wait, Scott Van Pelt has a P.
I'm a minority if you haven't noticed.
That's
no.
the first impression I got when I met you.
Yeah.
And I'm a minority. Yeah.
And no, you're not.
No, I think Archie Wilson going left is not as good as going right.
No, I mean,
Yeah. Like I'm better at turning right off of Dodge compared to turning left off Dodge, which I do every morning.
I can't believe now I'm going back on my Rolodex of Archie Wilson punts to figure out has he had a good. No, Cincinnati, he pinned him on the right side both times. And then against Michigan State, that was a right side punt. So maybe he isn't good going to the left. I don't think. He just had a bad punt. It happens. We have our bad days.
Almost cost.
I was really annoyed though when the referee, that's the worst part, when they keep running up the sideline and they're taking a nut and you're like, oh my God, can you stop? Can you please stop? Can you stop? He gets all the way up to the 40.
Two other things I want to know today. I did go and look at the replies to the House rules.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great. They're incredible.
Not just Nebraska fans. Penn State fans are all in rules mentions on his podcast because they asked non-football questions for the podcast.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is like a comedy show going on about Nebraska and Penn State fans. Two things I want to know. What was going to be the play when you got bailed out by the best delay of game call in the history of Nebraska football that you had to kick a field goal? What was the play you were going to run on 4th and 4? And also, rule! What were we thinking? The squib kick at the end of the first half that Caleb Lobb comes up with and returns it to midfield. That was a great opportunity, but might be just a rule problem of clock management. That was the end of the first half was a
disaster. Well,
yeah.
I got into a fight, and I don't get on fights on Twitter. I got into a fight with somebody on Twitter because I was like, what are you doing? And people were defending him. And I'm like, they were giving me excuses. I was like, oh, Pritchett's banged up and Dylan got hurt or this.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? If Pritchett's banged up, he shouldn't be playing. If Dylan's banged up, he shouldn't be playing. Take your time out. Go ahead. You've been able to throw the ball deep, right? You just need a 20. And by the way, you got Kyle Cunanan, who's been kicking the ball great. Just you need one chunk play, put it down, call your second time out, and then you go ahead and you kick the field goal. I don't know why they gave up there. That was
Sean says Harrison Butker also has been going to the right. I think he might.
I see what he did there.
I think he might be transitioning into a poor kicker.
Yeah, he missed another PAT yesterday. Hey, what are you guys looking? What?
I thought that was a pretty good joke.
I thought so too.
I thought that was a pretty good joke.
It was a good
was
joke. I understood what you guys were saying. I know the Harrison Butker history.
Yeah, it's 6 straight games he's had a mistake. I'd ask for my money back.
You had a good take last week.
That's it. That's just
That's it.
the
Just
comment.
leave it at that.
You were
Hey,
like,
thanks. Hey, thanks,
your,
bro.
your job to think
Hey.
of which one it was.
Hey,
no, you
go
point-
get him.
You pointed out something. I started paying
When I
attention.
go to Penn State, I'll take you with me, kid.
You pointed something out last week, and then when I was watching film, now I'm not done watching, but in the first quarter, what? Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just listening. Why am I not laughing? Because I have no idea where this is going.
So you were like, stop with the 3-3-5. Stop it. Stop with the whole deal. Man, I'm through like 3 defensive drives.
Yeah.
There was a 4-3,
Yeah.
a 4-2-5, a 3-3-5. There was one play where they had 6 defensive backs out there. I paused. I go.
I do remember that play.
They got 6.
Yep.
Like they are
Nobody running a 5-2.
They are lining up in everything. They
Yeah.
are. There was a 5-man. I see my notes here. There's a 5-man front 2 on the second drive. Like they are so multiple in terms of
46.
all the different personnel and everything like that. There was a great play. I'll send you a picture of it, where they lined up and they knew it was going to be a run, and they had the 2 corners. They had their 2 corners line up on the wide receivers like they were playing man. And as soon as the ball was snapped, both corners collapsed.
Oh.
And the safeties who were lined up over the corners, they came down and they took the wide receivers, but they collapsed in because I think they just were fully prepared out of that personnel and that formation that they were going to run the ball. And it was one of the better run stops that they had. I think my computer's not working.
All
But it
right.
was,
Matt Rule is coming up at 11:30 this morning. Well, we gotta close the
no,
show.
I know. I was great, but I was done.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't
that was
cut me
good.
off.
That's a good observation.
Your
hey,
coworkers
look
have a show.
Look
coming
at they're doing construction on Dodge Street out in front of the station.
There's almost a crash over there earlier. Did
Every
you hear
day.
that? It freaked me out.
up. We're safe in here.
All right. Again, Matt Rule speaks today. Nebraska plays Minnesota. We'll have much more tomorrow to discuss on this. Welcome to hot board season, not hot guy season.
I'm not.
It's hot board season. How miserable is this? It's, you know what? It's not miserable. Okay. Said our piece. We got Minnesota
Look,
and a 5-1 football team that has a clear path to the playoff if they don't stumble.
It's football season. I'm not a sex symbol until December.
Whoa. Can't drop that at the end of the show. There's a lot to
Yeah.
unfold there.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you, Mr. Bigelow.
What did Bigelow say?
Do not search Matt Rule saying he plans to stay at Baylor. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at 6. Crossover's coming up next.